Hi guys. I forgot to pull up the chat. You got to give me 1 second to do that, and then I will get us going. Okay? Um, I hope everybody's doing well. We are gonna do some detention dockets this evening. Took the clock off the wall. It's still in the shot. Great. Let me see. Let me see what we've got. Oh, there it is. I was like, it's up here now. Okay, why don't we get started? I can see you guys now. Hi. Happy Sunday. What did everyone have for dinner? Let me know. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, let me know what you wish you had. Um, we are gonna do detention dockets. I see everybody. Happy Sunday. Switching to the live chat, switching to where I can type. Um, just 1 sec. Just Okie dokie. So let us get the detention docket going. I already have it ready. I'm going to duck out for 1 minute. Oatmeal fries, fried okra, and a hamburger patty. Hi, my crazy life. Hi, Gracie T. Hi, Viking. Hi, Mayor. Hi, Amy. Hi, these hands. Hi, Trish. Hi, Shaquille. Hi. Anybody else that I'm missing? Um, yeah, let's oh, grilled octopus salad. That sounds delicious. I made grilled chicken and broccoli for dinner. So, hi Donna, hi Orlando, Chiquita, Keeper, hi. Okay, let's get us going. Um, and sorry, I'm just checking the date. Yep, that's the right one. Okay, let's get going.
Good morning, everyone. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. We are conducting these proceedings in compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 33 related to the coronavirus. And so we're conducting these proceedings remotely instead of in person. However, to comply with the Texas Constitution, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public can observe what occurs in a public courtroom. However, the court would like to remind everyone that this is still a court proceeding, so the court does expect everyone to behave appropriately for court. The court does expect everyone to have their cameras on and not to have bright lights behind their head or windows, which would shadow and obscure your face. The court does also require people not to appear in bed in pajamas, laying down, eating, smoking, drinking, in the restroom, taking showers, or having domesticated animals walking across the screen. No portion of this broadcast may be recorded, copied, or published. Violations of this are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. So now you're excused from the requirement to have your camera on if you are an officer of the court. So at this point, Alita Perry, please turn on your camera. Maria Cross, please turn on your camera.
Okay.
My video.
My camera's on, sir.
Thank you. Amy Willis, I don't see your camera on, but that may be a delay on my part. Pastor John, I think your camera needs to be on. Oh. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and proceed. I believe the first one. Good morning.
Wayne said you're sending me a plea.
If you were not doing detention dockets.
It's up to you.
But you're doing detention dockets, so we're going to do it tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Perfect.
So. Right. If hopefully mom can get here in time or on Zoom.
I may be a little slow. I've read through none of this. Too badly afterwards.
Okay, so I have Alexis Clark first on our list, but I don't think she's here yet.
Yes, sir, I am.
Oh, there we are. Hello, Ms. Clark. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm making a decision whether to keep you here to release you. If I keep you here, then you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Mr. Berger is your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Berger.
Morning, Judge.
So, all right, so Ms. Clark, I think you had asked to go downtown, right?
Yeah, but I had to come back for quarantine, like for my placement.
Oh, you're going to placement. Okay, so that's why you're back here for the quarantine period. Okay, well, you're level one outstanding. I'm glad to see that. And I'm glad there's a resolution to the case that you could find. I'm not saying that you like it, but that you found acceptable. All right, so you know I got to keep you in here since you're under quarantine. If I let you out, that would just delay your transfer to the placement, right? Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I'm good.
All right. Alexis, thank you.
Thank
I mean, I want to just take a moment to say I really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a parent here for Alexis?
No.
No? Okay.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next, we have Kelvin McDaniel, who I believe is in custody of the Tarrant County Sheriff. Mr. McDaniel, good morning. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm making a decision whether to keep you here for another 10 days or to release you. If I keep you here or keep you in the Tarrant County Jail, then you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Green is your attorney. I don't think I've seen him yet. Mr. Green, are you here this morning? Mr. Adler, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to substitute in for Mr. Green.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning. So, Mr. McDaniel, you're almost 18 years old. This is on Davis Boulevard, North Richland Hills, on a Jeep without headlights. So U-turn, chase, 3 people left. All suspects were arrested, and one of the suspects was Kelvin. Inside, they found things that did not belong to the stolen car, including a .45 caliber handgun, a Bible, and a passport. And oh, and you were on probation for a felony level offense, determined sentence offense. All right, so Mr. McDaniel, the fact that you were on probation for an offense that involved a victim, and now you're caught with a new offense and there's a handgun there, I'm just very, very concerned if I was to release you. Do we have a parent here for Mr. McDaniel?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hello, Ms. Willis. All right, I hope you understand the situation I'm in. It's just I have a duty to ensure the public is protected, and that gun just gives me big hesitation. Even though it wasn't placed on him necessarily, it was in the car that he was in. He's running from the police while he's on probation with a victim-involved case, a serious case involving a victim. All right, so, Mom, I hope you understand the reason for my decision. Do we have anything set for Mr. McDaniel, Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. He's currently set for, I want to say February 3rd, or hold on just a second.
Yes, it's February 3rd.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. McDaniel, at least we will have a court hearing involving your probation violation before your next 10-day hearing. All right. So at least you know we're getting close to the resolution on your case. Okay. Do you have any questions for me? Mr. McDaniel,
Uh,
you have any questions for me? All right, thank you, sir. All right, next we have Anton Perry.
Gosh.
Perry, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you in Tarrant County Jail or to release you. If I keep you in the jail, then you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Mr. Graham. I think I saw Mr. Graham earlier.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Graham. So, Anton, you're 17 years old, and you were on probation for...
Judge Kim, he's not on probation.
Okay, he's not on probation. You have pending cases. The pending cases for assault of the peace officer or judge and resisting arrest from September. And then December 10th, you were scheduled for adjudication and disposition with Judge Porter. There was a pass. We granted a motion for continuance. You asked to remove your monitor, but Judge Porter said no. After you left court, you were agitated since you were denied your request. When you got home, you and your dad got an argument over a hair pick, had trouble breathing. So we issued a warrant for you. Parents are concerned about your aggressive nature if you were to come back. All right, so Ms. Perry, have you had the chance to talk to your son while he's been here in the county jail?
We talked to him one time because his pen wasn't working, so he wasn't able to call as much, but I've talked to him maybe twice since he's been there.
All right, are you noticing any kind of change in his attitude?
It does look like it's getting better, but it's still not totally gone with the attitude. He still hasn't willingly apologized to us, and that's right. We need him to own up to his mistakes.
Absolutely. Mom, you and I are on the same page. My last question for you is, if I was to release him back to your home with you and your husband, would you and your husband feel safe with Anton living in your home?
Well, we have an order against him, so he can't come back here. We have to find placement for him, and I did find ACH who is willing to take him there.
Okay. Do we have somebody from the department here today?
I couldn't get anyone on today, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Perry, if you can talk with ACH or CPS and let them know that you would like for him to come out of here and go into a placement for foster, then they can contact Ms. Blair and we can try and arrange that. I'm open to idea to release Anton. The problem is I have to release him into a situation where the community is safe.
Your Honor,
yes.
I did talk with CPS a couple of days ago. They did advise that the older sister, if he was released, that the older sister would transport him to ACH.
Okay. Mom, what do you think about that?
Yes.
You like that idea?
Yeah.
You think that's what's best for Anton?
Yeah, if they're gonna give him some help. I mean, if he's gonna be there or not getting help, then it defeats the purpose. But they are supposed to have programs for him.
So there's a whole bunch of ifs, and I can't guarantee what's going to happen. My question was, do you think that's what's best for Anton, is to release him to ACH?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Anton, I'm telling you what, despite your poor decision, the fact that you did not cut off the monitor, and that seems like that's what was the issue, I'm willing to give you a chance to release you to ACH, to place you in foster, to get you out of the Tarrant County Jail. All right, but you understand that if you cause any problems while you're in placement through CPS, I will simply just bring you back here to Tarrant County Jail. Mr. Perry, do you get what I'm saying? Mr. Perry?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Do you have adult charges?
I don't think so. No,
all right.
Sir.
Okay. If there's adult charges, everything can change. But if it's just juvenile, I'm letting you know I'm okaying your release. All right?
Your Honor, he does have a felony assault from that incident with Dad because he was already 17, and that's why he was taken downtown to the Tarrant County Jail.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Perry, unless you can post bail, you won't be able to get out. But I won't be holding you if CPS wants to take possession of you. You kind of get that's a little bit complicated. You have two cases. One, you're in probation or your pending case is a juvenile, and then you have an adult case. So I can only release you on the juvenile case. I can't do anything about the adult case. That's a different court. Okay.
Okay. Can my mom hear me?
Yeah.
Will I be able to contact y'all or call my sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whenever they take me back, I'm probably gonna call.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Perry.
So,
right. Yes, ma'am.
So what happens in this case? So he's not being released?
Well, as long as there's a hold on him from the adult court, no. And that's not what this court does.
Okay. I'm just asking because I'm blindsided to all of this too. I'm not sure what happens or even who to talk to.
I understand. All right. Thank you, Ms. Perry. Okay, so I'm going to say, Ms. Kenyatta Kim, your camera needs to be on. Lakeisha, I specifically said at the beginning of this hearing, do not be laying down watching these hearings. I actually meant that. There's other people who evidently do not have their cameras on. Your cameras need. Pastor John, this is your last warning to turn your camera on.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes?
My camera been on. I don't know what's going on. I can see everything. My camera has been on.
Okay. Well, thank you. There seems to be a little bit of delay in the internet signal here. So thank you, Ms. Kenyatta. Okay. All right, next we will have William Beasley.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, so Mr. Beasley, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. And I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And, Mr. Adler has been appointed as your attorney. So, William, yesterday you were referred by 4th PD. We had a warrant for you. We had a warrant for you. And you had new charges. According to the police, they staked out your residence, noticed your mom leaving the apartment in a black Ford. The taillight was out, so they did a traffic stop. They asked Mom where you were, and she said you were at home. Mom allowed the police to enter your home, where they found you in the back bedroom trying to hide from the police, so you're arrested. The warrant was for January 2nd. They were dispatched to Domino's Pizza, met with the victim. He said he was delivering pizza and drinks to an apartment. The victim said he knocked on the apartment door, got no response, came back to his car. 2 black males in the breezeway asked about the pizza. Since he thought they were the people that ordered the pizza, he gave them the pizzas. Third person came from behind, hit the victim with a closed fist, and they fled on foot. The victim called the police, tracked the phone number, and came back to your phone number. So you used your phone to call in a pizza that ended up robbing, allegedly, to rob the pizza guy. All right, so they interviewed some contacts and witnesses. There were 3 or more similar robberies in the previous days in the same complex with the same MO. And they're all in the same complex that you live in. And evidently, well, Mr. Thomas, is he currently on probation for unauthorized use of motor vehicle?
That is correct, Your Honor. He was placed on probation for that back in February 24th of last year. And then he has several pending charges with us that we were trying to take care of. He did not show up for court, at which time Judge Porter issued a DTA. While he was on abscond with this DTA, he got another out of custody referral for evading arrest. And then as of last night, these additional charges also came.
And he also skipped a psychological evaluation.
That is also correct, Your Honor. We tried to take
it for weed. So he's on probation, skips a psychological evaluation ordered by court, picks up new cases, smoking weed, and all right, Mr. Beasley, clearly if I let you in the community, you're going to break more conditions of your release. So I think if I was to release you, you're a danger to yourself, you're a danger to others, and you're likely to abscond and not return to court. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Thank you, Mr. Beasley.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Michael Cortez.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
guy came. The same person.
Cortez? We also have a lot of people there. All right, Mr. Cortez, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Cortez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought into our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. Have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Adler has been appointed as your attorney. You are almost 17. Let's see, you are currently on probation for unlawfully carrying a weapon. And you had a court date for February 12th and a resource staffing for January 27th. All right. Now, you also, from December, I guess, had a pending case for a shootout in an apartment complex. Where evidently you were shot in the mouth. And then later in December, there was a call about something happened on December 5th. Victims said they picked you up. Another person to the victim's car to hang out and smoke weed. When they found a place to park, you were in the back seat, pulled out a handgun, and told the victim to get out of the car. So then you jumped in the driver's seat and left with the vehicle. So you've got an aggravated robbery case while you're in probation for unlawfully carrying a weapon. And then now, Grand Prairie brought you in. They're saying yesterday about 4 o'clock in the morning, there was a 911 call. Caller saw 2 males looking around inside the car. When the police got there, did not see anyone, but saw a vehicle parked at a vacant lot. So they waited until they saw 2 males return to the car. 2 males saw the marked police car and ran. 1 gave himself up and was arrested. That one had a knife and a loaded .45 caliber magazine on his person. The other person, which is you, ran, was later caught by the police. And after they blocked off the perimeter and used a heat signature drone to find you hiding in the bushes. In your search, you had 2 handguns in his jacket. 1 matched the other magazine, so you're arrested and transported here. And you're positive for weed when you're brought here. All right. Is somebody from the DA's office here?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Haynes, any idea on this child? Are y'all seeking determined sentence on the aggravated robbery?
I do not know. Let me, if I could have just a second, Your Honor.
Sure. Mr. Cortez, I want to let you know you've actually, the way it looks, is you're potentially in a heap of trouble. So on the aggravated robbery case, you're looking at, if they get determined sentence, you're looking up to 40 years in incarceration. After the juvenile TJJD, you could be transferred to the adult institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to complete the remainder of your sentence. In theory, you could be there till you're, I don't know, 47 years old, 57 years old. All right, so Mr. Haynes, you know, by chance?
I don't know off the top of my head. I was going to sign in and see if there's any note on his case. Have that in just a moment. So that is Mark Rickman's case. And
Your Honor, it just looks like regular delinquency petition's been filed according to JCMS.
It has been filed, correct?
the case is filed. I don't know if he's planning to take it yet or not. I could ask him and let you know by the end of the hearings today.
Well, if all this is in fact true, I have very little tolerance for this child. And so I'm going to want to move this one fairly quickly.
Okay.
Not when he's on probation for a gun case, picks up a new gun case, picks up an aggravated robbery case. So, especially at this age, he's almost 17 years old. So, can you ask Mr. Richmond to get back to the court and let us know what y'all's intentions are?
Yes, I will. I'll have him let you know here in a little bit.
Okay. If you could just email me and Mr. Adler at the same time, that way we can both know.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, so Mr. Cortez, I'm going to go ahead and detain you. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Stephanie, you can put a note in there. Don't release without DJ approval. All right, Sarah Cross. Sarah, is that you in the courtroom?
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor. This is Probation Officer Hunt. Sarah's not here. Mother is online, though.
Did Sarah not show up for a detention hearing?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, let's issue a warrant for her. She'll be here next time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mom, sorry that you had to take time out, but I guess your daughter's making decisions, making poor decisions.
Yes.
All right. Draco Livingston.
We're here, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Livingston. I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing. I need to decide whether to release you or keep you here. If I release you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to an attorney, and you have a right to remain silent. Ms. Hamrick has been appointed as your attorney. So, Mr. Livingston, you're 15 years old, and you're referred for aggravated robbery. There's a shooting in progress call. And I guess when the police got there, 3 people robbed 2 people with handguns. When they arrested you, you had weed on you. And then JPDE is recommending TYRC for your substance abuse, which I'm assuming is marijuana. Ms. Brown, is there any other substance that we're concerned about other than marijuana?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, so you're unsuccessfully discharged from TYRC. And yeah, Judge Porter denied placement. So we don't have a new court date set yet. Is level 3 acceptable? So, Ms. Hamrick, how soon can you be ready for this? Can we give you 10 days?
Depends on what you're asking me. Am I ready for, Your Honor?
Well, I mean, right now he's on probation. So he's on probation for felony burglary of a building.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Brown? Ms. Brown?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes. What is he on probation for?
For burglary of a building.
Okay, so it's a felony level offense. So what I want to do is go ahead and set this on the motion to modify on the probation violation. And then from there, if we want to adjudicate or deal with the aggravated robbery, we can do that at a future date. Right? But we're going to go ahead and send that out for right about between 10 and 14 days.
Judge, may I add, he's on 2 terms of probation.
Oh, what's the other one?
I believe it's a theft, but I believe this one is a misdemeanor.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's no commitments on misdemeanors. So yeah, so we'll do the Stephanie, let's go ahead and docket this for motion to modify contested hearing between 10 and 14 days. And then if the DA wants to pursue the aggravated robbery charge, they can do so at a later date. So Mr. Livingston, yes. The reason I'm pushing this is because you're level 3 acceptable. That means you're causing problems back there. Clearly, you're not doing anything to help your attorney. And so if you don't want to be here, then you know what, you're going to get your way. So you have a parent here for Mr. Livingston?
Yes, sir. She's here.
She is here.
Under Lakeisha.
Lakeisha. All right. All right, Mr. Livingston, please improve your behavior level because you're not giving your attorney very much to work with.
Correct,
Thank you.
Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Darian Akpan.
He's coming, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, no, that's Judge Porter. All right, Judge Porter. I'm passing the docket over to you. I will return for the under 14-year-olds.
All right. Thank you, Judge Kim.
All right.
Good morning,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good morning again, Mrs. Oihe. How are you?
I'm good, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Akpan, are you Mr. Akpan?
Yes, sir.
Am I getting close to the correct pronunciation of your name?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
All right. I appreciate it. All right, sir. My name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter if you're initially detained. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Ms. Uzoihe, is here. Do you see her on the screen? Rita, if you could say something so your box lights up.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I raise my hand.
right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You mean to tell her yes, ma'am, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's be respectful. All right. According to the police report, you were brought in by Arlington PD for the offensive failure to identify around 5 p.m. on January 5th. Arlington Police Department responded to a disturbance at a Quick Trip on Cooper. The call text indicated that someone was inside the store eating and drinking and refusing to leave after being there for about 30 minutes. Upon arrival, officers saw a suspect outside the building and identified himself using a certain name. The clerk thought that that person was stealing, told him to leave, but nevertheless, the person was waiting for his brother to pick him up, so he stayed. Store clerk relayed some more information to police. A criminal trespass warning was issued. And then it was discovered that you allegedly gave the police a false name and date of birth. So you were brought here. You're scheduled for court next week before Judge Cherry.
28.
And you're level 3. All right. Did Judge Kim talk to you about the level system in the back?
The last time we talked, he didn't really mention too much about it, but he spoke about it.
What did he tell you he expected, though?
1.
And what are you?
3.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. You understand why level 3 is bad and level 1 is good, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You got 8 days to get to level 1 outstanding. And you want to do that because if you do that, by the time you have your hearing before Judge Cherry, you put your attorney in the best possible position to argue for the best.
No, I know what Judge Terry is. She's Judge PTA President. That's what she is. Judge PTA President. I see that, Amy. Anyways, for anybody joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Kitchen Court Cases. We watch court usually in my kitchen. We're not in a kitchen right now, but that's okay. We are watching old detention docket hearings. These hearings are originally from 2021, and they are from the 323rd District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. They are juvenile detention hearings, which means they are different than what you might normally see if you watch adult detention or jail hearings, because juveniles are not entitled to the presumption of bond. They don't get bond. There's a different determination that happens here. You saw the first judge that was up above me. That's Judge Kim. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm here. I like to sit in the Zoom call in case you missed me. So basically, Judge Kim was first. Now Judge Porter's over there, and he's going to go up next. We like to vote in the chat. You can vote as many times as you want. You can change your mind. You can ask questions. We are pretty nice people around here. We like to have discussions and talk about things, so please feel free. We often, we feel for the kids. It's absolutely tragic a lot of the time, but we try and do our best to learn from all these situations. And if you see me waving this around, that's me going, that's a red flag, guys, red flag. So it's just so I don't have to unmute myself and talk all the time. But let's continue with this hearing, and you will, the last thing I was going to say is that the detention when the kids are kept in detention, they need to keep their behavior levels up. You're going to hear them mention behavior levels a lot. What they're referring to is what Judge Porter just talked about: 1, 2, and 3. 1 being the best, 3 being the worst. And then there's O for outstanding, A for acceptable, U for unacceptable, and C for confined. So the best behavior level you can get is a 1 outstanding, and the lowest is a 3 confined. What you have to understand is, in detention, to maintain a level 1O, you can lose points for the most minor of things. You could be for talking out of turn, for being overly playful, for looking at the wrong person. Many things that are normal behaviors for teenagers and kids this age to be doing. So the standard is very high to be at level 1O, but the judges use it as a meter to see if they can release a kid and if they are able to behave. Judge Porter, who's here right now, is a associate judge, which means he's been appointed by Judge Kim. Judge Kim was an elected official, so he's sort of the big boss, and that's why he came on first, and then he'll come on at the end. We'll continue on right now. Also, Judge Kim has a very strict court. I'm super surprised he didn't mention anything about Pastor John's flashing light. He's very strict about people not coming in late and not being disruptive. So that's how we often see a lot of drama in this court, because of the high standard that's set. And I'm not saying that it's not a good idea, but it's just why it happens to be. Now, let's go ahead and continue on watching. I see everybody in the chat. I am enjoying reading all your stuff. I love laughing so much. You guys, you make me laugh with all the rave comments about Pastor John and all that stuff. So let's continue on and see what Judge Porter has in the mix, and we'll go for there.
Best possible outcome for you. But if you remain level 3 between now and next week, Judge Terry's going to look at that. And that goes badly for you. All right?
Yes, sir.
That goes good for the DA who's prosecuting you. So would you rather help your attorney, or would you rather help the DA?
Attorney.
Okay. So what do you got to do to help your attorney out?
I got to get level 1.
There you go, sir. Okay. Now, as for today, I have to order that you be detained, because you have not demonstrated that if I were to release you, it would be safe to do so, that you wouldn't be a danger to the community. So I'm going to order you be detained, but you know what you got to do between now and next week to help out your attorney, right?
Yeah. How many days you say I have to get
It's 8 days until your hearing next week. So you've got a hearing before Judge Terry on Thursday of next week. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So you know what you got to do, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
You going to do it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. That'll be the order of the court.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Ms. Ozuehe. All right. Brandon Zachary Freck. And I know I saw Mom here earlier.
I'm still
here. All right. Do you go by Brandon or Zachary?
I go by Brendan, sir.
Okay. Help me pronounce your last name correctly.
Freck.
Okay, I did get it right.
Yes, sir.
Freck, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Graham, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
No, sir.
Can you see me?
I still can't see you, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Now I see you.
All right.
All right. According to the police report back on January 5th, Fort Worth Police Department detained you on a DTA issued by Judge Kim for an EM violation that occurred the day before. The day before, you had time out for work from 4 p.m. until midnight. Around 9:30, it's reported that you left work and went to Bicentennial Park, which was about 2 miles away from your job. And you were there until 10:45. Ooh, an hour and 45 minutes away from work. and then you left the park to go home. But your timeout was only for work.
Yes, sir.
Not for a jaunt to the park.
I understand, sir.
Now, is Miss Hall here?
Yes, sir.
Miss Hall, was he drug tested when he came back in?
He was, and he was positive for marijuana.
Oh. So Mom, what do you think about that?
It does not make me happy at all. I'm disappointed because I feel like he was doing good and then he had a setback.
Mm-hmm.
And if he comes home, if you allow him to come home, I would request that he be on a monitor to prove he can do what he's supposed to do, as well as a drug patch at this point.
What's he on probation for?
He's on probation. He's on probation.
Yeah, Miss Hall.
He's on probation for a misdemeanor assault, and he's already on probation until his 18th birthday, which is April. We have not sent anything to the DA's office yet because there's not really anything else we can do to modify his probation. However, if he is not released today, we will have to go ahead and forward the VOCO to the DA.
All right, Mr. Graham, what are your thoughts?
Well, Your Honor, obviously he tested positive, which is not good, but he is on level 1 outstanding, has done well since he has been there. So we'd ask that he be released on whatever conditions the court wants. Obviously the monitor probably, whether the court wants more drug testing and or drug patch, we'll leave that up to the court.
Oh, Brandon, what are we going to do to help you out?
I think the drug patch would be a good idea because it's like me and Ms. Hall were talking, whether I want to admit it or not, I am addicted to smoking.
All right. Against my better judgment, because both Ms. Hall and your mom have asked me to do it, I'm going to release you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be on the electronic monitor. We'll be on the drug patch. But Ms. Hall is incorrect. There are lots of creative things that I can do or Judge Kim can do to modify your probation.
Yes,
and
sir.
I think you've met both of us and you talked to us long enough to know that we can get very creative.
And I'm well aware of that, sir.
Okay. Knowing how creative Judge Kim and I can get, you gotta follow your conditions of probation better. Okay.
I promise you're not going to see me again until I come sign those papers.
Okay, Mom, you've heard him make that promise.
I heard it.
Okay. If he breaks his promise to you and to me, no birthday this year.
Ooh.
He will turn 18 without celebrating his birthday. All right?
All right. You're stiff, but I'll take the deal.
No. It's not a deal. It's not a deal.
Yes,
This
Your
is
Honor.
a unilateral contract. I get to dictate the terms. So not only do you not celebrate your birthday, I get to come up with additional creative conditions.
Yes, sir.
All right. And trust me, I am very creative.
Yes, sir.
All right. Don't let me down this time, okay? The next time you got an urge to smoke, instead of doing it, pick up the phone, call your mom. All right? Let her talk you through it. All right? That'll be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
All right. Thank you, Mr. Graham. Thank you, Ms. Hall. Okay. Christina Hill.
Sit up.
Good morning. Are you Ms. Hill?
Good morning.
All right. Is Mr. Shaw here?
I'm here.
There he is. I see him now. All right.
Where?
All right. Ms. Hill, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Shaw, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, you have been level 1-0 since January 8th. According to the police report, around January 4th at nearly 10:30 at night, Arlington Police Department responded to a domestic disturbance. Upon arrival, they spoke with your mom, who relayed the following. You'd become upset with mom because mom would not let her son's friend come over. Okay. And you became more and more upset when mom would not drop her off at a cousin's house. Verbal altercation escalated, and then you allegedly went and got a knife from the kitchen and told your mother to walk up on me. I bet both of us will die today. That's scary. Really? Okay. You were eventually arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Oh, and is Mr. Victorson, was she drug tested when she came in?
Check, Your Honor. I believe so.
And were those drug tests positive for marijuana?
She was tested on the 5th of January when she came in, and it was positive for marijuana.
Okay. Does she have any prior referrals to the department?
Yes, Your Honor. If you look on page 2, there's an offense history.
So she has not one, but two prior referrals, both for assault family violence.
In my understanding, this mother is the victim in all 3 of these cases now.
Is mom here today?
She is.
I'm here. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, you're Miss Hill?
Yes, sir.
Miss Hill, how long has this been going on?
It's been going on for a while.
Are there certain triggers, or is it just random?
She's like, you can't tell her what to do. She don't listen. She want to be grown.
Well,
and yeah.
Does she pay the rent at your house?
No, sir. No.
She pay the electric bill?
No, sir.
She pay for her groceries?
No, sir.
She pay for the clothes on her back?
No, sir.
What about her trips to the beauty parlor? She pay for those?
No, sir.
So, okay. How does she contribute financially to the household?
She can't. She's a minor.
Okay. So let me get this straight. She didn't pay for anything. You provide her everything she needs, but she's the one who thinks that she can make her own decision and take advantage of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
No, sir, it's not right at all.
Okay. Just checking. So she has been level 1-0 for about 12 days, which is the best behavioral level we've got. She's demonstrated that she knows how to follow the rules when she wants to.
Yes, sir.
But is that enough to convince you that she can behave herself at home?
To be honest, Judge, it is not convincing to me. It's not.
Tell me why.
I love my daughter to death, but when she drew that knife on me, it just put the icing on the cake.
That's a game changer, isn't it?
Yes.
I'd
rather see her at home, but when she did that, it's just, I can't trust my daughter no more.
Now, have y'all been having phone conversations while she's been in detention?
Yes, sir. But last night she got an attitude and hung the phone up. So I don't know.
What do you need to hear from her in
She
order?
haven't apologized. She haven't apologized to me. If she say sorry and let me know that she will do right and she'll be a better person, yes, that'll make me feel great. That she won't go run to the kitchen and draw a knife down on me. Yeah.
Do you have any other kids in the household?
Yes, sir. I got 2 in the household with me right now.
How old are they?
I got a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Okay. Do you think if I were to let Miss Hill go home today with you, that she'd pose a danger either to herself or to you, or?
I think the thing we have to remember here, and we joke about it, but like, well, this case seems different. I'm picking my words carefully. This case seems a little different. However, um, parents lie. Sometimes parents are bad. Parents lie. They don't know how to deal with things all themselves already. And so the reality is that sometimes it's absolutely critical to be looking at the entire family unit here, not just this child who's the presentation of the issue. And so it's very frustrating when mom says something like, when she promises me to be a better person, that will be great. Well, what tangible actual action item does that child have to follow up on that? Now, I'm not saying like, and again, I'm talking about generally. So not maybe not this case specifically. However, like it's a very hard thing as a kid, especially if you maybe are neurodivergent or whatever, to be a better person. Like how? So she can be, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but so she doesn't pull knives on me anymore. Okay, that's really, really workable. We can work with that. And that's true. But that's not going to be enough. That's not going to make this mom just said that when she did that, something snapped, something crossed in her, and she's not feeling the same about her child. So again, kids do rebel all the time. Kids are driven to do different things, and I'm not excusing any of that behavior. What I am saying is that every story has three sides. You know, his, hers, and the truth, or them, one side, their side, and others. So, I think that again, it's very concerning when I hear a parent sort of bringing a child over to be like fixed. Like, oh, could you just sort of fix her so that she's a better person? Like, maybe we should be looking at this and then like let's see how many of her other kids come through this system. And if many of them do, well, we're talking about probably a parenting issue. Um, I mean, I'm not saying that all of these kids have parenting issues, but it's very, very, very easy to see inconsistent parenting and adverse events in childhood coming in and absolutely just rocking these kids without the ability to recover properly. And again, when you invite the state or the government into your family, then you are losing some of that control. And so it's something that I want, people need to be careful of and think about. But also, this is where you need to be dealing with kids like this at a very much younger age, not when they're this age. Um, exactly, daylight. Maybe teach her knife throwing and use the energy constructively. I really believe in like what concerns me is when you send a kid from a situation where they are rebelling and then they do well with structure. That tends to tell me that maybe there wasn't that structure in the home that was conducive to that child with that parent. It might be that that parent is able to give another child great structure, but there are parental child mismatches that happen all the time. And so and they can make it worse and worse and worse. So it worries me. I feel for the mom, but I also feel for the kid. I tell you guys every time, I see myself in these kids. I see myself in what they go through. And as a parent, I have a 14-year-old child myself. So I have, I'm on both ends of this spectrum to see what it's like. But um there there has to be some family support given, basically. Now, everybody who's new here, welcome. We vote in the chat if we think they're going to be released or detained, which is flashing now like that. And we'll get back to watching this right now. Again, I could be totally wrong about these things, but I just tell you guys the vibe that I get based on my experience over time with watching lots of court and being a mom and being a bad kid. I was a bad kid. That's the other thing. I know that. So, anyways, let's continue on and see where we get.
Her siblings?
I don't know, Your Honor. I don't know.
But you don't feel safe in the home yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
It's that those phone conversations haven't gone well enough yet where you feel safe.
No.
But if there was a point where those phone conversations started going right the way she started really opening up to you and talking to you and being respectful, at some point, would you be willing to let her go home?
Yes, sir. I'd rather her be at home.
Mr. Shaw, what are your thoughts?
I just wanted to ask Christiana's mom, so you don't want her to come home today? Is that what you're saying to the court?
No, not today.
Judge, I don't have anything further.
All right. Ms. Hill?
Yes, sir.
Younger Miss Hill. You heard your mom talking, okay? It's up to you during those phone conversations to repair the damage with your relationship. And once that happens, then we can let you go home. But there are two things you have to do. First, you have to maintain level 1 for me, okay? You do that between now and your next detention hearing, and that'll go a long way in convincing both me and your mom that you're willing to follow the rules. The second thing you need to do is, during those phone conversations, start being respectful to mom so that she will feel safe, okay? Does that make sense, Miss Hill?
Yes, sir.
And younger Miss Hill, does that make sense? All right. That's going to be the order of the court. Thank you.
What?
Christian D'Angelo Mays.
We're here, Your Honor.
All right. Are you Mr. Mays?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mays, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Masick, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
I'm right here. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The court previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you should be detained in our facility. More specifically, you were brought in on a DTA issued by me. And Judge Kim talked to you about what he needed from you to begin the conversation about your release. And what did he tell you? What did your level need to be?
1-0, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. What is it?
2-8, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. So what do I have to do today?
The time.
Okay. Between now and your next detention hearing, what are you going to do to put yourself in a position where we can begin the conversation talking about your release?
File the races.
Pardon?
I said file the races.
That'll be a good start.
Just make sure I get my
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Masick?
You know, I can't get around the level, so.
All right.
But otherwise, he's been doing better. So, and mom is saying good things about him. So.
Hey, that's good. All right. As of today, I gotta order you be detained. Okay.
Yes, John.
You know what you got to do in the next 10 business days, right?
Yes, John.
Make it happen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Aldo Solis.
He's coming in right now, Your Honor.
All right. Are you Mr. Solis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Solis, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Adler, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. You've been level 1-0 since the 11th. Mr. Adler, what are your thoughts?
Judge, several things going on in this case. The first thing is mom is not present, not 100% certain she's ready for him to come home based on the charge, which was against his brother, allegedly. But Judge, we have several other things, if I may address the court on.
Yes, sir.
Because of the drug that he tested positive for in his history, I would ask the court to please order placement search today. So we'll have options because his mom is not quite ready for him to go home and possibly avoid a CPS referral. That's the reason I'm asking for the placement search. And we are set for court on February 1st, hoping the placement search can be done by then.
Ms. Aguirre? What are your thoughts on a placement search?
Your Honor, I am in agreement. I do recommend a placement search for Alvo.
That will be granted. So if you'll get with Mr. Shahan and begin that process, the court will grant that request, Mr. Adler.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Solis, I too am concerned about the particular drug that information that's provided in the report to me today. And it's not just once, but it's at least twice that I know about. So that really does give me pause. So based on, you've been doing really well in the back. I need you to continue to maintain that level 1-0. The reason you want to do that is because whatever the results of the placement search are, the better your behavior in the back, the better the outcome on the placement search. And you put your attorney in the best possible position to argue on your behalf. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you want to put your attorney in the best possible position so that we can get the best outcome for you, okay? I understand this is not what you want today, but really, given the information in the police report, I'm still a little concerned. So I'm going to order that you be detained, all right? But keep being a good example for everybody else in the back for me. Will you do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Adler?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Good.
Thank you.
All right. The open courts provision of the Texas Constitution guides all courts in the state of Texas and it counsels us that we should keep the doors of our courthouses open. During this pandemic, the Texas Supreme Court in emergency orders 1 through 33 has directed all the courts in the state of Texas to keep our doors closed generally to the public as part of the court's effort to help mitigate the damage caused by this pandemic. However, in keeping with the spirit of the open courts provision of the Texas Constitution, these hearings have been broadcast live on YouTube. An exception arises to the open courts provision of the Texas Constitution under Section 5408 of the Texas Family Code. It provides that when a child or children are under the age of 14, there is a presumption that the child's right to privacy outweighs the public's right to participate in those hearings. There's been no evidence brought forth to the court today that suggests that presumption should not carry weight. So the remaining hearings today involve children under the age of 14. And pursuant to Section 5408 of the Texas Family Code, the remainder of these hearings will be closed to the public. I'll remind anyone who may have been watching on YouTube that rebroadcasting or recording all or part of any of these hearings is expressly forbidden. Violation of the court's order may subject you to civil and/or criminal contempt proceedings. So at this time, I'll ask the court coordinator or Judge Kim to discontinue the live stream on YouTube.
Well, don't worry. With the magic of videos. We are almost, well, we're ready to go for the next one. I'm being sort of bad, but I'm not being bad. I'll tell you why. That was a long speech. The reason I left that one in there, and I'll tell you why. Judge Porter sometimes, just sometimes, specifically thanks people watching on YouTube and the public, and I really love it when he does. It's one of my, oh, hey, Miss Fretch is back. Wasn't she here yesterday? She was. That was a lady that was above me. She was, I swear. Anyways, so, I don't mean to joke about it. However, I'm in Canada, so I'm less worried about the jurisdiction of, and is that to say Primerica in the background of the lady above me? Is that not a pyramid scheme? I'm pretty sure that's a pyramid scheme. Like, seriously. Okay. Anyways, we will play this. We'll let everyone.
Good morning, everyone. This is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Thursday, January 21st, 2020. Comply with Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 33. We are not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we are using Zoom. And to comply with the Texas Constitution Open Courts Act, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public can observe what occurs in a public courtroom. No portion of this broadcast may be recorded, copied, or published. Violations are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. This is, however, still a court proceeding. The court does expect everyone to behave appropriately for court. That means please not be laying down, dress inappropriately, do not be in a moving vehicle or have domesticated animals come across the screen. Do not take a shower, use the lavatory, eat food, drink alcohol, smoke. Yes. All right. And court also expects people not to have moving backgrounds or to have bright lights behind your head which shadow out your face. And we would prefer not to look at the ceilings behind you. Please be appropriately framed in the camera. Also, if you are not an officer of the court, you do need to have your camera on, as if you are attending court. If you're simply here to observe, you may go to the YouTube channel and observe from there. So, Kenesha Austin, your camera needs to be on. Ms. Padron, no one wants to look at your sun visor in your car. You do have to be on camera. Ms. Padron, for the second time, you have to be on camera. We're not going to look at your ceiling of your car. Ms. Austin, please do not have your ceiling fan on. Okay. Ms. Austin, for the last time, I don't want to look up your nose. That's basically what I'm saying. I'll read in. Your last name's cut off. I'm going to remove you from this because your camera's not on. I know, like it shouldn't be this difficult. It's like this every day. All right, so we're going to go to start with Decorum Montague. Mr. Montague, are you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, good morning, Mr. Montague. We have a parent for Mr. Montague. Whoever's in the courtroom, could you please angle the camera down so we're not looking at the ceiling? Thank you. All right, Mr. Montague, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. I'm looking at your case, deciding whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Montague, you have lengthy history with this department going back to when you were 12 years old with your first offense for evading arrest, assault, assault claim, serious bodily injury, and then you're 13 and it keeps on going. You were on probation for stealing a car in October of 19, and then about a year later, you're arrested on a capital murder warrant. You were out, you had cut off your EM, and but this is over the $40 in weed. All right, Mr. Montague, I see you're level 1 outstanding. I'm glad you are. This is the least you can do to help your attorney in your case. And so at least you're helping them. The fact that you were on probation, you had a cutoff monitor when you picked up a new case, gives me great concern about the safety of the community as well as the safety of yourself. I'm going to continue to detain you. Thank you, Mr. Montague. Joseph Nevarez. Mr. Nevarez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing, deciding whether to keep you in custody or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And if you cannot afford one, we'll provide one for you. I see you're 16 years old. You're level 1 outstanding. You're on probation out of Dallas County for assault bodily injury. You were in placement. And let's see. Last August, you were referred here by Fort Worth on Main Street. But this is when you came over to the stockyards. There's a robbery, and the victim was shot multiple times. And you were a witness placed you standing over the victim, pointing a handgun at him when you shot him. Got into a tan GMC truck and were followed by an off-duty officer, and the shooting was caught on camera. So the fact you're on probation for a violent offense, and then now you are here. We don't have a parent here, do we? No? Okay.
No, Judge.
I'm sorry?
No, she's not on here.
Evidently, Mr. Nevarez, you're caught on camera shooting somebody here in Fort Worth. Gives me great concern about whether it's safe to release to the community, so I can continue to detain you. Thank you, Mr. Nevarez. Danny Parker.
Thank you, Judge Kim.
Thank you. All right, I'm removing Edward Shoemake for walking around on camera while he's in Zoom. I'm sorry? Well, turn his camera off. Danny Parker. Mr. Parker, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing deciding whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. All right, you were released to your mother in Taylor County, and then you found your way back to Tarrant County. There was a shots fired called. Police showed up, saw you adjusting your waistband. Camera showed you putting a gun in your pocket. They found a gun in your pocket. And so I'm afraid if you were to release you, you would just come back to Tarrant County and acquire another handgun. So do we have a parent here for Mr. Parker? All right. Mr. Parker, you were almost 17 years old. I'm going to let you know that when you're 17, if you are not level 1 outstanding, I'm going to house you downtown, right, in central lockup. And so I see you're level 1 outstanding now. I'm glad that you are. I need you to be a good example for the kids back there, and that way you can stay here in the better facilities. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So you go, Hugo Pocosangre Reyes. All right, Hugo, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Adler, is here. And so we had issued a warrant for you in October for violating your EM. So your mom called and said you left the house without permission, without a timeout. Your offense was with aggravated robbery. 2 victims flagged down the officer, said they were robbed by Hugo, and evidently you found out it was your older brother. Held a pistol to the back of one person's head, demanded their property, went to their pockets, took their cell phone. Victim took off running, so Hugo pointed the pistol at the victim that ran and fired a shot, hit the ground next to him. And so they ran by to a nearby apartment complex. So In the apartment you were found, they found ammo, victim's cell phone in the apartment. Tried to arrest you. Oh, so when you coughed your monitor, we tried to pick you up on the warrant. You ran from the police. So, all right, Hugo. That's the thing is, we don't have a parent here, do we?
Yes, Judge, we do. Miss
We do?
Reyes. Yes.
Okay, Miss Reyes. All right, Hugo, there's no situation in life that you can't make worse. The fact that you had the case, let you out on EM, and then you violated your EM, we went to go find you, and then you ran from the police. And so it's just a lot harder for me to release you because I'm afraid that if I released you, you wouldn't show back up to court. Yes, Mr. Reyes, if you have a question for me, I'm happy to answer it. If you want to tell me something, your attorney does not want you to say anything. All right, so Hugo, do you have a question for me?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, and I know it's tough. I feel you on this, but your attorney really does not want you to talk. Is that right, Mr. Adler?
Yes, Judge. We're set in front of you tomorrow at 8:30 anyway.
Okay, great. Hugo, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Ahmed
Judge.
Ahmed. Well, Trish Terry, it is good to see you.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning. Waiting on Mr. Ahmed.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ahmed. I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing, or no, this is a detention hearing, deciding whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Hopkins is your attorney. I believe I saw Ms. Hopkins earlier. Are you here? Oh, good morning, Ms. Hopkins. All right. So, Mohammed, didn't I just see you in court? January 13th, we got a tamper notification on your EM at about 10 o'clock. Called Dad. Yeah, I just saw you on EM because I told you, going to release you on EM and you have to follow all your dad's rules. You have to respect your father. The dad went into your room, noticed you were gone, and the EM monitor was there in your room. So we issued a warrant for you on January 20th. Euless PD knew you had a warrant, saw you on school's grounds. Police officer went there, told you to stop. You fled toward the apartment complex. Told you to stop again, turned around, yelled something, ran off towards some townhomes. They caught up with you, got you in handcuffs. So now you're looking at evading arrest. And you're positive for weed. So I let you out. I had a talk with you at the detention hearing, told you that you need to respect your father, follow his rules, stop smoking weed. And you said that you would. Dad, you remember the conversation, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you remember for me how important it was for me that he respects you. And that's his promise to me that he would. But Dad, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your son's a liar, right? And so it's just hard for me to trust a liar. Mohammed, I assume everyone's telling me the truth until you lie to me once, and then I think you're a liar, and then you have to prove to me that I can trust you again. So at this point, you're going to be here for a little while, and we'll figure out at what point you've convinced me I can trust you. All right. Thank you, Mohammed.
All right.
Ajathian Austin. Hello, Mr. Austin. I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney is Mr. Shoemaker.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Sorry about that earlier. I didn't realize you were an attorney. And next time, if you just turn your camera off, if you have to move around, I don't mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, I'm in court today. I apologize.
No apology necessary. I don't mind if officers of the court, you have other business, just turn the camera off. And that
Yes,
way
sir.
I don't see the movement.
Sure.
So my apologies. All right. So Mr. Austin, Fourth Peter brought you in December 9th. They responded to a robbery. Victim said she was working at the AT&T store. 3 suspects entered, pointed a gun, demanded cell phones. And they opened the safe, gave 10 iPhone 12s, about 10 iPhone 12 minis. And they took the victim's iPhone. And they were able to track the phones. FBI arrested you in Dallas, turned over to Fort Worth PD, and brought you over here. And so there's still photographs from inside the store security cameras where you match the shoes and jacket. So so do we have a parent here?
Judge, his sister's on, Miss Austin.
Miss
Yes,
Austin.
I'm here.
Hello, Miss Austin. All right, so my question is, do we know where the gun came from?
From my knowledge, it wasn't him who had the gun, so.
It wasn't him at the gun store?
No, it was him at the store, but he wasn't, he didn't have the handgun.
Oh, he didn't have the handgun.
Judge, I looked late yesterday and I don't have any additional information as far as the report. I don't know if Mark has received any additional information about that.
So,
But we are scheduled for court next week on the 27th.
Is there, Mr. Shoemake, are y'all in discussion? Like, do you think you're going to be in an agreement next week?
I don't believe so, Judge. At the present time, we're putting a potential exit plan together, including housing, education, an entire structure system. Once I have that completed, I'm going to get it to Ms. Guerrero. So she can, my understanding is that she will then investigate that and generate some type of report that we can give to the DA. Once that's complete, then, obviously we're striving to do that as soon as possible, and we'll notify the court as soon as possible.
All right, so Ms. Guerrero, well, Jessica Reed, isn't that a parent?
It's his sister.
It's his sister, Judge.
Okay, her camera needs to be on. All right, so Ms. Guerrero, there were 3 people that entered the store.
That is correct, Judge.
Have you seen the video or the photographs?
I think her shirt says Senior 2020. I believe that's what her t-shirt says. Senior 2020.
I've seen the photographs.
How many guns were there? Do you know? Can you tell?
I saw one in one of the photographs.
Okay. And does that show Mr. Austin as one of the ones with the guns?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. So in the video shows him holding a gun?
Yes, in the still that I received, yes.
Okay. All right. So I will tell you what, Mr. Austin, had you not been the one with the gun, the fact that you have no history and your behavioral level has been 1 outstanding since December 13th, I think I probably would have let you go today. The fact that you evidently were one of the ones with the gun in the photograph, that just makes me slow down a little bit more. All right. So keep up the good work. You're on the path to get out of here. I'm just not comfortable yet. I'm a big supporter of guns. I'm just very much against kids with guns without a responsible adult around them. So keep what you're doing. You're on the right path. You're just not there yet. All right. Thank you, Mr. Austin. Brendan French. Thank you, Mr. Shoemake.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we are back here today. Ms. Fretch, I understand that Brendan, this is a detention hearing. I released you yesterday, but we have to take you back into custody. I'll go over that in a minute. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. So, Ms. Fretch, talked to you yesterday. I was going to release Brendan. However, when you came here, you said normally our electronic monitors for 21 days, and you said you would like it longer, and that's, I'm not going to predict that we're going to keep it on indefinitely. That's not what we do here, right? And so I believe I gave you the option that if you wanted it longer, we'd be willing to do it, but you would have to reimburse the county for the expenses of monitoring longer if the court felt like it was time to take off and felt that that was appropriate, that if you wanted it to continue the electronic monitor, that you would have to reimburse the county, and you refused to take custody of your son. And so we told you that if you did that, we would have to file a CPS report. And my understanding is you agreed and said, go ahead and call CPS for refusing to accept responsibility for your son. Is that correct?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So at this point, I think, who's the probation officer for Mr. Fretch?
It's
Paul. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I know I talked to Mr. Van Hook yesterday. So have we made the referral to the department?
Yes, and the CPS investigator, Katerina Hollingsworth, is on Zoom right now.
Okay, Ms. Hollingsworth?
Actually, the supervisor, the caseworker is Abigail Miles.
Hello, Ms.
And
Miles.
She's on as well.
Okay. All right, so should I talk to you, Ms. Hollingsworth, or Ms. Miles?
I mean, either one, but Miss Miles, I know had direct contact with the mother.
Okay, well, I'll talk to Ms. Miles, especially because everyone enjoys it when you're being questioned in front of your supervisor. So, Ms. Miles, I'm going to ask you, where are we right now? Since mom's refusing to accept responsibility, we have a child, he's ready to be released. What can you do?
Yeah, I did contact mom this morning to just try and go over some options because I really wouldn't want to put a 17-year-old into CPS custody for 3 months, especially if we have family members that are able to take him. According to mom, none of the family members are willing to take him. So I'm not exactly sure where that really kind of leaves us.
I get it. It's times like this when I just sit back and think, like, we don't know what demons a person's going through, right? We don't know what, there's all kinds of underlying things that Miss Fretch and young Mr. Fretch here in their past and their history, and we're kind of looking at it from a different scope because we just enter their lives like this, unfortunately. So at this point, we really can't keep them here. It's not appropriate. Well, we can. It's just not appropriate to keep them at Kimbo. And we have a parent not willing to take responsibility. So the options right now is either to let a juvenile minor out into the community as a homeless child or to call the department. And so that's kind of where we're stuck at. Is the department able to take possession of this child today?
Your Honor,
Yes, Ms. Fretch.
I don't want him to go into CPS custody. I just wanted him on the monitor for 6 weeks. He's done so much that it's hard for me to trust him.
Oh, I agree. And that's why I'm releasing him on the monitor. Ms. Fretch, here's the thing is he may be on the monitor for 21 days. And if he has problems on the monitor, we would keep him on for, there's children that have been on the monitor for over a year. I don't have a problem extending the monitor out if they can't be trusted. But what I have a problem with is looking as, we're not a service to provide.
No, I'm not asking for babysitting. I'm not. I want him to earn the right to be off that. And so far he hasn't. He's had people in my house.
I understand, but Ms. Fretch, what I'm saying is we're not I wasn't going to say babysitter. We're not a free service to put electronic monitoring on children, okay? So if he goes 21 days and he's fine, it's really hard for me to justify because remember, every child that I keep a monitor on is another child that I cannot put one on because we have a limited number of monitors. So I can't indefinitely keep an electronic monitor on a child, okay? Now, if he was to be released on electronic monitor and had problems, well, the monitor would stay on because he needs it. But if he did fine, I can't make a promise to you before something happens that we would keep the monitor on. That was the problem yesterday. Now, if you're saying that, if you told me that even if we felt like the monitor should come off, that you wanted it on, if you would reimburse the county, we can acquire another monitor to place on a child that really needs it, okay? And that's where I'm coming from. So I just have an obligation to the taxpayers and to my own budget that the county commissioner set for me, use the money wisely. And just because a parent is saying, we don't know what's going to happen, but I need the court to promise that, 21 days from now that you're going to keep the monitor on him, even if you think he doesn't need it, I can't do that, okay? So I would rather release him to you with the monitor and see how he does and reassess it. But as a judge, I can't give what's called an advisory opinion. I can't predict what I'm going to do in the future. I can only tell you what I'm going to do right now. Okay. So that's all I can say. So the options are kind of there either, because even Ms. Fretch, it comes to the point where he's on the monitor for 21 days and he's not compliant, or you're not comfortable with him coming off the monitor, but we're in a disagreement that I think he still needs it, or he does, I'm sorry, we're in a disagreement that I think he doesn't need it and you think he does need it, then, you can bring him back here and say, when it's time to cut off the monitor, you say, I refuse to accept responsibility then. And then we can go through this process, but I just don't want to cross the bridge before we get to it. And that's kind of what you were doing yesterday, is you're predicting what would happen before it actually happened. And courts just don't work like that.
No, I understand what you're saying. It's just from the history. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong in this situation, but His past history shows
Mom,
otherwise. I
Mom,
know.
Amanda, you and I are on the absolute same page. I have very little faith in Brendan, but the problem is I can't make a promise to keep a monitor on a child in the future when I don't know what he's done between now and then. And that's what you were asking me to do, is you were asking me to make a promise for the future, and I just can't do that. Okay, so if you want to try it and pick up your son, and at day 21, if he's scheduled to take it off, when you bring back here to take it off, if you say, I refuse to take him now, then we just take him to detention then, all right? But I can't predict what I'm going to do 3 weeks from now, okay? So given this conversation that we're having, understanding CPS's position, which is they're very hesitant, but you can kind of tell Ms. Miles is saying, Judge, please don't make me do this, but if you're ordering me to do this, I'll do it. Are you willing to give this a chance to get Brendan and see how it goes over 3 weeks and then make a decision?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, Brendan, do you understand the frustration that everyone has?
I 100% understand, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm asking a question, but I want you to understand that everyone is really focused on you just taking care of your business for 4 months and then doing what you want to do. Okay?
Yes, sir.
That's all we want. But for those 4 months, if you're going to insist on being a knucklehead and doing what you want to do, then you're leaving me no option but to have Smiles here. And I've met Miss Smiles before, and she's a great CPS worker, but the problem is she's stuck. When a judge orders her to do something, she has no choice. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And the law is what tells me to do something, I have no choice. So you could spend some time here at Kimbo until your case is done if you refuse to take care of your business.
Yes,
Okay?
sir, I understand.
Just be respectful, just follow the rules. You don't have to like the rules, just put up with it, because I guarantee your mom is a lot nicer than our detention staff. Okay?
Yes, sir, she
A lot better environment at home eating her food than my food, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Brendan, just, we're tired of this, but
And I made a deal with Judge Porter yesterday.
With who?
With Judge Porter.
Judge Porter? Okay. Yeah. So, I'm kind of cold that way that I'll bring you back without a problem.
I know you will. It's happening.
Yeah, so don't test me.
I'm
All
not.
right.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Mom, try it. Just stay in touch with the probation officer. I think that is Ms. Hall. And then if getting close to the date, if you feel like this isn't working, just let Ms. Hall know so we're ready.
Yes,
Okay?
Judge.
I'm not saying I won't extend the monitor. I'm just saying I can't promise something 3 weeks from now without knowing. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Abigail Graham.
Your Honor, if I may, real quick, on the last case.
Yes. Yes, I'm listening.
He was released on the drug patch. Would you like us to continue with the drug patch?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right. Abigail. Good to see you again. Hello. It's been 5 days. I know it was supposed to be 10-day hearings, but I remember you. This is one where I said you had voluntarily asked to stay here, just kind of cool down a bit and kind of regroup, right?
Yeah.
And I said, we'll do it every 5 days because I want to give you the option. At this point, so I see your level 2 outstanding, okay? So I wish you were 1, but I get it. You're here voluntarily. Are you ready to leave here or do you want to stay here further?
I want to stay here until where I'm going is set in stone.
Until what?
Where I'm going is set in stone.
Oh, so do we have a placement search?
I talked to her yesterday, Judge. She doesn't want to go back with Mom. She said the same thing's going to happen. She wants to go live with her dad, but me nor the PO has any information on Dad.
Abigail, do you have information on your dad?
No, I haven't talked to him in a year. I did talk to him through Facebook, though.
Okay. So, a lot of times we kind of romanticize the idea of going somewhere, and when we actually get there, it's not nearly as nice as we thought, right?
Yeah, I know.
So, are you? Yeah. I'm not saying this is your case. I'm just saying I want you to be aware, Abigail. Okay. So, Chrissy, I guess your mom.
Yes, I'm mom. She hasn't seen her biological father since she was 5.
Mhm.
And there's reasons for that.
And Mom, that may be the case, but the law doesn't look, when it comes to detention, we don't necessarily look at the past history. This is kind of a gap in the juvenile justice code where it just names the parents and doesn't qualify how good the placement would be. Okay.
I know. I just, she will not be coming back here. I want to, see, she keeps on getting on suicide watch. So, I mean, she needs help. She needs to go into a facility. I've contacted
Mom, I appreciate your position where you know your daughter much better than I do or anybody else does, right? But you, legally, I mean, through the process, you can't tell me what she needs because there's certain evaluations we have to do and make that determination. The legal, not looking out for her as a parent, but just kind of the legal decision. So I can't agree with you on that one just because we haven't gone through the process yet. Okay, if that makes sense. At this point, I do not wish any kids to be here in our facilities. Some have to stay here for varying reasons, right? I know given the offense, given the situation, I think I was ready to release Abigail. However, I needed a safe place to release her to. And I don't think, given the offense, that it was safe to release her to your home, okay? So you and I are on the same page on that one. But I would like to find another place to release her to. So that being said, Mr. Hall, what can we do?
I'm not sure, Judge. I mean, I don't know how to get in contact with Dad. We don't have any information on him. Neither does Miss Blair. We talked about it yesterday after I talked with Abigail. I mean, she is adamant she doesn't want to go home with her mom.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like it's a toxic situation, so I understand. All right, so Abigail, at this point, I don't have really any options for you, okay? If your mom's not willing to take at this point, for whatever reason, whether it's the past conflict or whether it's the present case with the aggravated assault, that option's kind of out. Ms. Blair, do you have any thoughts?
John, I'm covering for Ms. Blair today, but she did let me know that she reached out to Mom yesterday, but that contact wasn't made to try and get Dad's information, but basically just what Ray said is where we're at.
Okay. All right.
Judge, could we go ahead and get a psych ordered?
Psychological?
Right on the borderline on whether I think we really need one or not.
Mr. Hall, psychological or psychiatric?
Guess psychiatric, since she's been on suicide watch is what concerns me.
I will do that. Mom, can you tell me what your daughter's been diagnosed with in the past?
She has been diagnosed with depression and anxiety.
Okay. Has she been prescribed medication before?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know what she was prescribed?
Quinine, gabapentin, and Vextrin.
Okay. Gabapentin is not psychotropic.
It's for anxiety.
They prescribe gabapentin for anxiety?
Yes, sir.
That's interesting. Okay.
And trazodone.
Okay. Abigail, you're familiar with the prescriptions you've had in the past?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Abigail, we're gonna have a doctor or psychiatrist come visit you, see if anything needs to be adjusted or not. Okay. So at this point, I'm gonna continue to detain you. Okay, now I have to ask, Mr. Nava, can you tell me why he's level 2 and not level 1?
Yes, sir. Give me one quick second. So it says that she was secluded back on the 16th. It seems that she was inappropriate hand gestures with peers. It seems the behavior just escalated, so the punishment just escalates to seclusion.
Gail. Right. I'm not mad at you, just kind of disappointed. Right? Last time we talked, you kind of seemed like you had your act together and very self-aware, and now it seems like you're kind of losing it. Okay? The only thing you can do, the only control in life that you have over anything is how you react. Okay? Just remember that. Anything else, nothing else you can truly control. The only thing you control is how you react to a situation. Right, so Abigail, we'll see you. We'll go in, because of the psych eval, we'll just set this for 10 days instead of 5 because I want to complete the evaluation. All right, thank you, Abigail. Mom, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Judge.
We got Malik Montgomery. Mr. Montgomery, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Willett, is here. Good morning, Mr. Willett.
Good morning.
So, back in December, you were brought in by Fort Worth PD for unauthorized use of the motor vehicle and evading arrest. It was a stolen vehicle. Mark unit came up. Driver stopped stolen vehicle. 3 occupants ran. All were found. Malik was the driver. Ascari, your brother, police saw him throw a handgun. The 3rd companion was arrested for evading arrest as well. On December 8th, I released you on electronic monitor to your mom. December 29th, you violated your EM from 2 in the morning to 2:20 in the morning. And so your probation officer, this PAX is too nice, gave you a stern last chance. And so yesterday during school hours, you violated EM again from 1 to 6. And you were at QT, McDonald's, and in residential areas. It looked like you were driving in a car.
Judge.
Were you in a drug test, Ms. Paxton?
Yes, Your Honor, they did a drug test and he was negative for all.
That's good. All right, so hold on, Mr. Montgomery. If you have a question for me, your attorney, I'm sure, doesn't mind you asking me a question. If you want to tell me something, I am positive your attorney does not want you to tell me something. All right, so do you have a question or do you want to tell me something? So, all right. All right. Malik, I'm just going to lay this out for you. This is just being a knucklehead. All right. Don't push the system. Ms. Paxton's nice, but you can push it too far. So I look at this. There's nothing to indicate you committed a new offense. You're clean on your UA. So, I mean, I'm going to ask you if Mr. Willett gives me the blessing, what's appropriate? I mean, what do I need to do to make you understand that you just can't do this?
You can answer.
So I didn't know until I got in here really that I couldn't go off campus for lunch.
All right, Malik, stop. Look, you can take a situation right now, which isn't that bad, because I'm open to releasing you as long as there's some kind of learning moment out of this. I want this to be painful enough that you say next time it's not worth it. But if you start lying to me, then we're going to have some big problems, okay? So let's just rewind. I'll forget that you said that. Work with me here. What consequences is there for you to learn out of this moment that you can't violate your EM? And it's not just coming here and seeing me in detention hearing. There's got to be a consequence.
So I had only 7 days left, and I was doing what I was supposed to do and stuff. And I mean, I don't like being in here because I don't think nobody should be in here really. But I don't know. Can I?
That's the thing, Malik, right? The kids that should be in here are the ones that won't follow the rules. I let you go home on the EM with the idea that if you do that, you don't have to be here. But all I require you is to be where you're supposed to be.
Yes, sir.
Because you're at Kimbo, I can make you be where you're supposed to be at Kimbo, right?
Yes, sir.
But if I let you go home, I'm trusting you a little bit, but you can't burn me for trusting me. So Malik, this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and if you can get to level 1 outstanding on Monday, then I will let you go on electronic monitoring again.
Okay.
But what you got to do is you got to control yourself. You got to make decisions to do the bare minimum, which is just do what you're supposed to do. All right?
Yes,
and I'm okay releasing you. But the next time you understand, I'm going to hold you a little bit longer, right? Stop violating your EM. Right? That's all I'm asking you is just be where you're supposed to be. That's all.
Sure.
Okay? Mr. Willett, does this sound reasonable and fair?
Yep. Yes, it does.
All right. Mr. Malik, you understand why I'm doing this, right?
Yes, sir.
Just don't break the EM. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Did we have a parent for Malik?
Your Honor, his mom had to work, but his godmother is on, Miss Nickerson.
Okay, that's Miss Nickerson. All right.
This is Miss Nickerson speaking. I'm actually on the phone with his mother. She works inside of the Tarrant County Jail, and she wasn't able to come out. So she's on the line with me, and she's heard everything that you said.
Okay. Well, hopefully she finds it appropriate as well.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Quentin Sales.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sales, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing, deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Agnigi is your attorney. I believe he is here. All right, so we had released you. You were on probation for evading arrest and unauthorized use of motor vehicle. And December 10th brought you in for DTA because you ran away from home and you were positive for weed. And then on New Year's Day, you tried to escape from our facility. So you have absolutely, do we have a parent here for Quentin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
Hello, Mr. Loach. Did you know about the escape attempt?
I found out about the escape attempt. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens, but I don't know if the DA is going to file anything or not, but that could end up with a new felony charge on him. And generally, when you're on felony probation in front of me and you pick up a new felony case, it usually doesn't work out very well for you.
Judge, I don't have any indication on the intent to file felony charges.
So we'll see. That's not up to you or me.
Okay, because I reviewed the report of the incident.
Yeah.
It's more the other guy than him.
Okay. All right. Well, Mom, I hope you understand my position. It seems like he has this habit of just, so we have the evading arrest with a vehicle, which he's on probation for. Then he runs away from your home, Mom, and now he's trying to run away from my home. Honestly, Quentin just doesn't want supervision. He wants to do it his own way. And until he realizes at his age, he has to follow the rules and respect authority, then this is what Kimbo's for. So,
Judge, is there any chance we can reconsider the setting aside of the placement search order as to keep that as an option? I'm talking about reconsideration, Judge. I know the court has withdrawn that order for placement search.
Well, with him trying to escape from a facility, why am I going to send him to a placement that he's going to escape from?
Maybe he's learned his lessons.
The eternal optimist.
Just like you, Judge.
I am not eternally optimistic.
Judge, I know you to be
very optimistic of you to say that. All right, Mom, Mr. Loach.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you think. There was a placement search originally to see if we could put him in placement. instead of TJJD. But when I heard about the escape, I canceled the placement search. Just said, if he's going to try and get out of a secured facility like Kimbo, then, he may try and, he's in all likelihood, he would try and escape from a placement facility. So he needs to be in a lockdown facility. What do you think?
I'm really still for trying to place him in another facility. I do believe that Quentin is still savable. I have not given up on him yet. The incident with the escape, I don't know the whole story. I'm not just going to jump to conclusions and say that I believe everything he says, but I don't know what the story is, but I do believe that he learned his lesson on that, and he knows that that he needs to be away for a little while. I do believe that Quentin thinks that the time that he spent there with you, it seems like he goes for like 5-10 days. He comes home and then he goes back. I'm almost got to the point where I thought that the kid thinks that it's kind of like a joke. Like he thinks because he's a juvenile that, oh, they're just going to hold me for 10 days and they're just going to send me back home. I was trying to tell him that that's not the case. This is, they're building a case on you. You're about to be 17 years old. So Quentin does understand. I do believe that he learned his lesson, but I think that him being gone for 5 to 10 days at a time, I don't quite think he's learning anything. So I was really hoping that he could have got placed somewhere for at least 6 to 9 months so that he could get himself together.
And to put this in perspective, TJJD is technically a placement, right? It's just a placement that has all the services available. A lot of these other placement places, they have one service or another, 2 or 3, but it's not really what we call wraparound. TJJ, I looked at it as one of those, if we can't find an appropriate place somewhere else, then we go to TJJD because they have everything. So, Mr. Niji, I'll try it. We'll do a placement search. We'll start the placement search again. Who's here for Mr. Houston?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
I'm kind of skeptical that any placement will want him because of the escape.
Okay.
So I'm almost confident that any non-secure facility, non-lockdown facility will take him. Okay. I'm hesitant that any lockdown facility will be willing to take him.
Mm-hmm.
My bet is TJJD is the only place we'll take him because they don't have a choice. If I order it, they have to do it. So,
okay.
Quentin?
Judge, and I'm not questioning your best interests of him in your consideration. I'm not questioning that, but so I just want to make that clear.
Thank you. That was almost non sequitur, Mr. Adeniji. But point taken. So when we'll do the placement search, I'm not betting on it, but between your mom and your attorney, we'll spend the effort to at least see if they want to take it. I'm just afraid because of your decision, you may have shut those doors already. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sales.
So the other today is detained, Judge.
Yes, he is detained.
Okay, I just want to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loach.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Scentmore, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day hearing deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Mr. Adeniji is your attorney. You had history of this department, some supervisory cautions in 2017 and 2018. 2 days before Christmas, you were brought in. Gang enforcement did a traffic stop, smelled weed. There was a search, found a pistol and a baggie of weed under the back right passenger seat where you were sitting. They asked what you were doing with your handgun. You said it was for protection. It was a stolen weapon. The serial number was scratched off. You were arrested for unlawfully carrying a weapon. And the gun is stolen out of Louisiana. And so you're positive for weed. Dad lives in Louisiana. That's right. This is Mom. He was just visiting you, Mom, right? For the holidays. So, well, Mr. Nava, can you tell me why he's only level 1 outstanding as of today?
Yes, sir. Middle of the last week, he got into an altercation with Rudy Valle, and I did speak with detention staff, and Rudy was the aggressor in the situation.
So did Mr. Scentmore de-escalate it, or did he engage Rudy?
He did engage.
Yeah. All right, so Keith, the problem here is I know Rudy, right? And I know him well. I know what he can do and what he's like. And that's my issue to deal with. My concern is when you're defending yourself like that, that is exactly the mindset that you have when you say, I'm going to carry a stolen gun with the serial numbers filed off for my protection. Right? That if somebody threatens you on the street, that you think it's appropriate to commit violence against them. So I'm deeply concerned because your behavior actually confirms the offense that you're in for. Yes, Mr. Adenichi.
I've been talking with Zen Reed, and I believe he's on the Zoom. And the kind of options we are looking at, he wants to hear from the mom what arrangements she's making to get him back to Louisiana. And that will influence the kind of disposition he will agree to. So.
Okay. Well, Mr. Reed, please engage that. I mean, I think this kid needs supervision. I'm just concerned about releasing him without actually a plan for supervision, for classes, for anything like that.
That's exactly what Zen Reed also was.
Right. Releasing on detention versus releasing with supervision are two different things.
Yes.
So I think right now you still, Mr. Adenichi, your client still has the mindset that he needs to bow up and stand up and protect himself, which is evidently how he got in this situation in the first place.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So, Keith, I hope you understand why I'm making the decision that I'm making. You got to make good decisions. This falls on you. All right, Ms. Reed, did you have anything you want to say to me?
No, Judge, just that.
I meant Jessica Reed. Jessica Reed, are you Keith's mother?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Stephanie. I'm on someone else's phone.
Oh, okay. So which child are you here for?
Keith Scentmore.
Keith, okay, all right. So, yeah, Stephanie, did you have anything you want to say to me?
I mean, Keith, he's gotten in trouble when he was out here. When he was with his dad, him and his dad bumped heads a little, but Keith, he make straight A's since he started school. He has his business management license now. He's supposed to be graduating in 5 months because he have all his credits. So he's on the right track as far as school and getting his education. As long as I can keep him focused, like as far as a job
or keep him alive.
Yes.
Keep him alive.
Yes.
That's my fear, right?
Yes.
My fear is, where does a 16-year-old go out and get a gun, serial numbers filed off, and carry around for protection? I mean,
yeah, because he's been staying with his dad for over a year now because little problems we've been getting in, but it never escalated to a gun. And the gun, I don't know where he get the gun. It's, I guess, in Louisiana, but.
Hey, Mom, kind of what I'm gathering from what probation is telling me and what you're telling me is that he's not a thug. He just wants to live the thug life.
Exactly.
And the streets don't care if you're actually a thug or not, right? That's the thing. He just needs to get off the streets. That's his problem.
Yeah, I think he just need to stop hanging around the crowds he's hanging around and focus more on his school and education like he's been doing. Because like the last few years, this has just been getting out of control. That's how he ended up with his dad.
So, Mom, what's exactly the plan?
My plans are, I really don't know right now. Once he come here, I know once he get home, he's most likely, KJ, he's gonna sit in the house and do what he have to do for a while. But I'm just saying, once you get bored what are you going to do? Because his dad's planning on coming back to get him. But if he can't go out there, I guess we have to get him a job and keep him busy.
So you have no objection with the dad taking him back to Louisiana, do you?
The dad will take him back. But what I'm saying is if he can't go because of this probation and all that, if I can get him a job and keep him focused and get him in some different activities, hopefully that'll work and he can get himself together.
I guess what I'm trying to get you on is, so if the court is not opposed to you getting him to Louisiana, is that an option?
Is it an option for me to get him to Louisiana?
Don't worry about that, Stephanie, because, I mean, if we give him probation, we'll let him, if Louisiana will take him, we'll send him to Louisiana if y'all think that's what's best. My thing right now is while this case is pending, you understand if I let him go, he can't go to Louisiana until this case is over, right?
Yes.
He would have to stay with you.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I was gonna see about getting him a job and keeping him busy. Cause he's very if he get work, he'll go to work. If it's some yards he can mow, he's been since he's a little boy, he'd take out trash for $1. So I know if it's something he can do to make money or keep himself motivated, he'll do it. But I have to find some things for him to do. So I guess when he get home, we can go do applications just to keep him busy, keep him motivated.
Mr. Niji, can I ask your client a couple questions?
Yes, Judge.
Keith, how do you feel right now?
Yeah, how do I feel?
Yeah, what's your emotion right now? Not do you feel good or bad? What's your emotion? Like, what's your frustration right now? I see your body language. You're frustrated. What are you frustrated with?
I'm just trying to see, like, I'm just wondering, just thinking.
You do what?
Just thinking.
Yeah, but what do you think about? You're frustrated. I can see your body language. You're frustrated, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, what are you frustrated with?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can't really tell you.
You do what?
I said, I don't know, sir.
What's your reaction to what your mom is telling the court?
You said, what's my reaction?
What's your reaction to what your mom is representing to the court?
I just feel like that's a good idea. I was like, because I was thinking about getting a job, and me and my probation, I was in the area and stuff.
I mean, Keith, you're in a situation where you understand you have no control over what's going on right now, right?
Yes, sir.
But you understand you're not the victim in this, right?
Yes, sir. I understand.
Like, there's only one person that put you here.
Yes, sir. Myself.
Keith, I have a saying, good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions, right? So if the kid is in my court, usually it's there because of a bad decision. Sometimes I care about the decision. Most of the time, I only care about your future decisions, if they're going to be good or bad. That's all my goal is, all right? So I can give you a chance. I'm going to release you on EM, all right? You're going to have a sweat patch, so you can't use drugs. You know what a sweat patch is?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have a sweat patch, you're going to have an electron monitor. We will give you the timeouts that you need for work, school, help your mom out. What do you got to do, all right? You can't go back to Louisiana until the case is over, okay? But what you got to do is this EM, you got to get off the streets, right? Sounds like based on what your mom is saying, you actually have a bright future, more than a lot of the other jokers that you hang out with. The people without a future, all they like to do is drag down people with a future so that they're at the same level as them. Okay? Rise above it. Rise above it and have a great story to tell that you could have done bad, you could have had problems, but you chose the high road. All right?
Yes, sir.
So we'll see how it goes. This is not that bad of an offense. I'm just worried about you making good decisions. So is your mom. So is your dad. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll give you a call.
All right. That will conclude detention docket for.
So do I need to call?
I'll call you, ma'am.
He gets to go home with you. Not home, not Louisiana, but he gets to go to your home.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, have a good day. We will see you tomorrow morning at 10:30.
Judge,
Yes.
I do have an extra matter. That 9:30 setting that we had earlier, you asked me to drug test that juvenile. I do have results back.
And?
Not in his favor.
Oh, no. All right. Let's go and detain him. We'll see him tomorrow morning.
Okay. You want me? You said you wanted to present him for a detention hearing.
For tomorrow. Tomorrow's detention hearing.
Okay. So I guess I'll bring you a DTA.
Yeah, just bring me the DTA. Or if you want to bring him now, well, his attorney is Mr. Youngblood.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's not here. So actually, Mr. Adniji's here. Yeah, let's bring him into the courtroom. They're gonna have to log in again.
That was my intention to get him.
Mr. Adniji, you're gonna pinch it. Fill you in, Mr. Adniji, Mr. Youngblood. It was set for a hearing, and we had no contacts with the kid. Mr. Adniji, are you there or frozen?
Looks like he's frozen.
Yeah. You need me for something? We're waiting on somebody to get unfrozen. Did you need me for something? I did. Okay. Irma's here, so I messed up.
No, it's more. It's a technicality, really. The order granting the writ of attachment. So she said she was a special prosecutor, but when we issued the writ, we have to attach an attorney to a party, and we can't do that way. So who or what are we supposed to put her on? Because we added them on.
Because the court on its own sworn the witness, told her to appear.
Right.
The detention hearing didn't appear. So we have to get her here.
So if we attach her to the mom, then this is the way that writ's going to read, is that she's representing the mom, which she's not.
Correct. She technically represents the state of Texas. She's a special prosecutor.
I'll call them downtown.
Call them, yeah. I'm sure this is not the first time this happened.
Okay. I'll see what they.
Yeah, but technically she's a special prosecutor representing the state of Texas for the court.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up?
All right, Mr. Adniji.
Yes, Judge.
Catch you up. Here's a kid. Let me get the. So this kid, Edwin Youngblood's the appointed attorney. This one is, I believe, the offense date was like in 2017.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I did just call Mr. Youngblood, and he said he could join, so I sent him the Zoom link.
Okay, good.
Possible he might join right now.
Okay.
All right, Judge.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adniji.
I appreciate you.
Well, we have to bring back the DWAP docket. We don't have one. And then we have to go and kind of audit to figure out what cases have fallen through like this.
Good morning again. Mom does not speak English well enough to do well without an interpreter. Maybe Jorge can sit with her.
Yeah, Jorge can.
So how do you account for your incredible instinct for these drug deals anyway?
You know, this is one of those, you practice long enough and you just know. A lot of times I'm sitting here on these kids, I'm like, you know, if I was their attorney, would I want the judge to P-test my client or not? And if I get that feeling, oh no, this is not the day, I'm like, I should probably give one. My batting average is almost 750. I'm about 3/4 on these.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You have a pretty good instinct for this, from my experience anyway. Judge Wish has pretty good.
He does.
Feelings for such things.
I think practicing criminal defense kind of teaches that, hones that skill. And there's a couple times where the kid pees clean and they're surprised. I was like, I guess I asked the right time.
Jorge, we're hoping you can translate for Mom.
And we'll give him a chance to go back to his office.
Oh, maybe you could just talk to her ear. Okay.
Oh, yes, sir.
Are you gonna stay there, Jorge?
I can. Yeah, I'll stay here.
Okay. You'll probably have to interpret for Mom. All right, so Mr. Hernandez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been out of custody, but I've noticed that there was really no supervision over you for quite a bit of time. There was no court settings all of 2020. So I thought this was a good time to just go ahead and do a UA just to make sure you're following the conditions of your release. And so we gave you the urinalysis test, and I've been informed. Oh, so the purpose of the hearing is to decide whether to take you back into custody or to keep you in the community. If I take you into custody, you have to see a judge every 10 days. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Youngblood, is here. So we gave you the UA, and it turns out you were positive. Mr. Nava, what was he positive for?
Your Honor, I was told that he was positive for just THC.
For THC. All right.
Can we stop for a second? Jorge, did you get a chance to tell Mom what's going on?
Yes, sir. I'm standing right next to her whispering.
Okay.
I'll give you a chance to catch up. Why don't you let her know what I said?
Como dijo el juez, no hubo supervisión por el año pasado porque no tuvo corte por razones por él quiere llevarlo al jurado y hoy tuvo su corte y el juez pidió un examen de droga, pues los resultados era positivo por marihuana. All right, Judge, I'm caught.
All right, thank you. So, Jorge, if you can ask Mom, my question for Mom is, where's he getting the weed from?
Mamá, el juez quiere saber si usted sabe dónde viene la marihuana.
No.
Your Honor, she doesn't know.
Okay. That's a problem for me because, Jorge, that tells me that you don't have the supervision that you should be having, especially when you're out on a case like this. Jorge, go ahead.
Y el juez está preocupado porque tiene este tipo de caso pendiente y eso le dice a él que no hay suficiente supervisión para Gargo.
I'm not saying it's your parents' fault. I'm saying it's probably you refusing to accept their supervision or you refusing to do what is right.
Dice que no es la culpa de usted como mamá, pero es posible que Gary no quiera aceptar la supervisión o no quiera hacer lo correcto.
So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and detain you.
Al este momento sí lo va a detener.
Right. And then we will reconsider this and decide whether to release you or not. Mr. Nava, if we can go ahead and do we still have the sample or did we throw it away?
I think we threw it away. And Gary was very honest with Mr. Velasquez who did the drug test. He did tell us when he last used.
Okay. So what I would like to do is we'll just go ahead and get another sample from him when we can. I mean, it'll be later today. And we can send it out to the lab to see levels.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Y que después quiere mandar otro examen de droga para el laboratorio para saber qué tanto ha usado.
The reason why I want to do this is with it being marijuana and there's no new offense, I'm inclined to let him out sooner than later, but I want the levels to make sure he's not continuing to use.
Quiere saber los niveles de su examen de droga para saber que si sube ese nivel, sabemos que está usando, si anda bajando, sabemos que no anda usando, pero sí está, sí lo quiere dejar y más pronto que los 10 días de trabajo, que es cuando va a tener su próxima audiencia.
Another thing, Mr. Nava, I'm curious, Mr. Youngblood, because I'm actually thinking about something else. Can you ask Mom what his grades are like in school?
Your Honor, I can elaborate. I don't think he's enrolled in school right now. There's some conflict issues with the paperwork. Mom did not have birth certificate nor social.
This is the case, Judge, where the high school has decided he lives too far away and they want him to move to a different high school. So at the start of the semester, she was supposed to register him and she ran into this trouble that you just heard about.
So he's not in school right now?
That's correct.
I don't think so, but if he were, it would be online, I think.
What were his grades last semester?
I don't have that information, Judge.
Yeah, Mom doesn't recall the grades right now. Gary told me he also doesn't remember his grades.
Well, my question and the judge's question would be, was he passing or not?
He was passing. I did have those conversations with Dad, who he was living with at the time, and he was passing his classes. And I do know the reason he's not enrolled in school. His dad was the primary caretaker, and his name is on all the paperwork for school. But Gary has since went to go live with his mom, and she was not listed in any paperwork at school.
So she has to find the birth certificate so she can go get him enrolled.
Yes, sir. As well as security number.
Where was he born?
He was born here.
Like here in Tarrant County?
American citizen.
But in Tarrant County?
The judge is thinking about how hard it will be for her to get the birth certificate.
Yes, sir. He was born here in Tarrant County. So I can request a birth certificate in case she's still missing that.
Okay. Well, Gary, I was actually inclined to go ahead and release you on Monday, right? So you can go back to school, but since you're not in school, that's really important. So I will release you as soon as your mom gets you enrolled in school.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, as long as you're level 1-0, of course, yeah, your behavior level has to be level 1 outstanding. But if you're level 1 outstanding and your mom brings paperwork that you are enrolled in public school or homeschool, then I'm okay with your release. But I can't have you out there without being in school. Okay?
Yeah, I understand.
You understand? I'm not trying to punish you for this one. I'm trying to make sure you understand that rules are rules. There's things that are legal and illegal. And any time in life, when you're least expecting it, you can get caught doing something illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah. All right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so hopefully your mom gets you enrolled tomorrow and Monday you get out, or even tomorrow you get out. Like, I'm okay with that. Because I want you to be, well, Gary, it can't be tomorrow because it takes 3 days to get to level 1 outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So Monday would be the earliest. If you're level 1 outstanding and she brings proof you're enrolled, then you get out Monday.
May I speak to my client about marijuana for a second, Your Honor?
Yes, you want to do it in a breakout room or here?
No, sir, this is just the law.
Okay.
Gary, it doesn't matter whether you smoke marijuana, take it in a food form, or vape it, or anything that causes marijuana to get in your system will cause the drug test to be positive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Okay. And Mr. Nava, whenever we release them, we'll do a sweat patch.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. Please, we don't have a voucher made for you on this one because it was unexpected. So please submit one.
Okay. Just with the bill when it's done, or individually?
If you can do it, because it's detention hearing, if you can do an individual one.
Okay. Does that? I haven't done that. So is that something that's available online, or how would I do?
No, it's a yellow form.
So come to the department to get that done.
Yeah. Oh, but you're kind of restricting yourself because of COVID, right?
I'm trying. I've had vaccine 1 and I'm hoping to get 2.
I'll ask Stephanie to do it for you today.
Okay, I appreciate it, Judge.
Thank
and
you.
I will let you are not alone. We'll be letting the judiciary know when when I understand this, when 12 days has passed after my second vaccination with no symptoms, then I'm more likely to be resistant. So that will start trying to be more present.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do it for you this time. That's our Edwin Youngblood COVID accommodation.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We'll keep going since you guys are still here. Yay. I'm still here too. I'm just grabbing something and getting stuff ready, but I'll be back on camera shortly. I'm also just typing mostly. Um, Honestly, I know we usually skip this, but this was part of my favorite part was them, like everybody sort of filtering in and seeing, what was going on. Good night, Prissy. I hope you have a good sleep. Um, yeah. I really want to find what I've also got on my list is finding Mr. Nava's poster. I want to get a, I guess, I don't know, an image of it so I can put it in my stream. Um, yeah, Gracie, we've been talking in the chat about different tests and this kind of the SPECT scan. See, I said scam. Now maybe that was a Freudian slip. But Judge Kim, hold on. I'm not ready yet. Because I'm talking about something important. Here's the thing. I'm a pretty skeptical person. I can usually suss out. I mean, that's just who I am. I can suss out scams and lies and all that kind of stuff. And I went for it was like some sort of brain training thing where they hooked you up to a thing and then let you listen to a CD. And then you do that many times and supposedly this is going to help me somehow. And anyways, I remember thinking as soon as I sat down, I was like, oh, this is a scam. Like, this is absolutely not going to work at all. And I felt really stupid. But, aw, you guys are sweet. I've thought about doing audiobooks before. I should just maybe audiobook my own books. um, yeah, everybody in the chat is talking, or not everybody, but people in the chat are talking about brain zaps. What do those feel like? Can somebody describe that in the chat for us? Like static electricity running through your brain. Okay. Well, like I've said, maybe people are new. I have aphantasia, so that means my brain doesn't use visual imagery. And so there's no images in my brain. It's always black. When I close my eyes or open them, I can see things, quote unquote, see things just as well with my eyes open or closed, in my mind's eye, if you will, because I don't ever see anything. So, yeah, that's part of how I interpret the world. And so my brain often feels a little bit funny, but I think you guys are talking about a physical feeling as opposed to the synapses of your brain functions. Anyways, and I'm sorry to hear that some people are hurting, but I am really glad that we've all found each other. It's lovely to be able to talk with people that understand. Let's continue watching and hear what Judge Kim has to say. We see how easily people can change the tide for their kid one way or the other. And we also see just, how difficult a lot of this is. A reminder, these are detention hearings that we were listening to that originally aired in 2021. And we are looking back on them. They are from the 323rd District Court of Tarrant County, Texas. And presiding, we have Judge Alex Kim. He is the elected district judge in this county. And below him, he has appointed judges, two of them. We have Judge Porter, Andy Porter, I believe it is. and then Judge Cynthia Terry. Judge Porter is judge better than I deserve in my mind, and Judge Kim is just Judge Kim. But oh, hi Bobby, welcome. I'm so glad you're saying hi, and if you're new, stop in and say hi, guys. And then Judge Terry is PTA president, Judge PTA president. These guys, again, these are old cases, but sometimes the judges really show their privilege and like how they can't really put themselves in the shoes of some of these kids or some of these families that have gone through a lot of difficult things. But I encourage you guys, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. That's super helpful. Liking the video too, or not liking, that's okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and watch what Judge Kim has on for us today, and I will be back shortly.
Mr. Reed and Mr. Credible, was he able to make it in?
He is, Judge.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Credible. I think you're on mute, sir.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Regards to Mr. Thomas, I saw that. I didn't know if it was in person or usually the motion and seal are done in person. I wasn't in set up Zoom session, but I don't see any pleadings in the jacket. So when I came here, I saw that. I think the last file mark in here is 2009.
And Judge, I guess the only reason I really wanted to pop on here is just to let you know from the perspective of juvenile services, I've reviewed the petitioner's motion and we're not opposed to it. We're just going to leave it to the discretion of the court on what you'd like to do. I'm happy to provide any other input that you would ask for from the perspective of juvenile services, but we're leaving it to your discretion on what you'd like to do with it.
Well, thank you, sir. I hope you're doing well.
Yep. Good to hear from you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, so this is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court for Friday, January 29th, 2021. In compliance with the Texas Supreme Court Emergency Order number 33, we are not conducting in-person proceedings. However, we are on Zoom to conduct this court hearing remotely. To comply with Article 1, Section 13 of the Texas Constitution, also known as Open Courts Act, we are broadcasting these proceedings on YouTube so the public may have meaningful access to observe what happens inside their courtroom. However, this is still a court proceeding, so the court does expect everyone to behave appropriately for court. That means please be dressed appropriately and behave appropriately. Do not use a restroom, to restrain your domesticated animals, do not be laying down in bed. Also, if you are not an officer of the court, we do expect you to have camera on, free from distractions or movement in the background. The court does ask everyone to refrain from having bright lights from behind them, as that shadows out and obscures your face. No portion of this live stream may be copied, recorded, or broadcast. Violations of this order are punishable by contempt of court of up to 6 months in the Tarrant County Jail and a $500 fine. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Victor Alvarado, who is currently in the Tarrant County Jail. All right, Mr. Alvarado, I'm Judge Kim. This is a 10-day detention hearing. I've been holding you for 10 days, so I'm reviewing your case to decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you here, the law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Your attorney, Mr. Youngblood, is here present. Good morning, Mr. Youngblood.
Good morning, Judge. Can you see me, Victor? I can't see you.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
So, and Victor, you are currently in the Tarrant County Jail because of your age and because of your behavior here at juvenile detention. So, this is the offense. Let's see. I'll go over this. September of last year, you were referred out of custody for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Victim and another male were walking. They identified you as a shooter of a driver of a silver truck. After being shot, both men ran to Avenue M. He'd been shot in the leg. So police are called there. The victim said that he knew you because you went to school together, but could not identify the shooter. So the other victim provided the name of Victor Alvarado as a driver, and they contacted your mom, said you were being investigated, and your truck had been towed and impounded. And yeah, so the other victim said they were walking to the park when he was shot and did not fire back, nor did he have a gun, and described the victim and the companion. They described the victim and the companion to the police. Okay, so the police went, I guess, to your grandmother's home, found 2 firearms in the trash bin outside the house, fingerprints, DNA taken, and you definitely had a warrant out for your arrest because in April, there's a warrant issued saying that on March 28th, police were dispatched for a shooting, found an unresponsive male with a gunshot wound to the chest. Shooter left the scene, but witnesses gave descriptions of the vehicle, and the victim died at the scene. So there was a witness heard a boom, screaming. There's a surveillance video in the area, and I guess another witness said that the day before there was an argument at a basketball game, and that you got upset, came back with a BB gun, and then evidently the next day came back with a real gun, according to the victim. So, all right, Mr. Alvarado, just because of your history and what was happening during the case, I guess while there's an investigation for murder, you evidently are identified as a suspect in a shooting call. I'm very concerned about the safety of the public as well as yourself to release you. If anything, I'm also concerned about retaliation against you. I think you deserve a day in court. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you until, really, I'm inclined to detain you until trial, but we'll see how it goes. Okay?
Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. Yes, Ms. Youngblood.
Because he is where he is there any way I could maybe communicate with Mary and set up a Zoom hearing with him this afternoon? I have a very serious plea bargain offer to offer him for Mr. Bumberg.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get in contact with Mary, and we'll just have to give the sheriff a little bit of notice to make sure he's available on the computer terminal there at the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Youngblood. Have a good weekend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sheriff, thank you very much for bringing this inmate. James Arango. Mr. Arango, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days, so I'm reviewing a case, deciding whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And so, James, you've been here for about 30 days. You're level 1 outstanding, and you just turned 16 a couple weeks ago. All right, so, see, James, Grand Prairie Police brought you in. They're saying on January 2nd, there was a shots fired call. The 911 caller told the police that somebody was firing into her fence. They got there, saw a female standing outside the vehicle, 2 males inside. The police could smell weed, so they searched the vehicle, and you had a .40 caliber pistol in your left pocket, which was a stolen weapon from 2011. So they also found marijuana, a second handgun in the vehicle, so you were transported here. And you were positive for marijuana. You had no history with this department. Mr. Nava, are you here?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to figure out. Victim's assistance is saying that there's no victim to this offense, but the narrative says that somebody was shooting into her property. So do we know anything about this? I mean, when we talk about offense, what was on the, like, was her house hit? Was it just a fence to nowhere, to a field? Do we have any?
The neighbor's fence is what the report says.
Right, but I'm just saying, so I mean, when bullets go through a fence, they have to hit something.
That's correct.
Do we know any information about this?
No, sir. It shows, all it says that it hit the fence and the victims, or at least the neighbors, heard it, but it doesn't mention where it landed, if it hit anything, if it struck anybody, none of that.
All right. Well, Mr. Adler, you're substituting in for Mr. Masek, but your office with Mr. Masek, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Adler, do you mind passing a message to Mr. Masek? If he can get me information, like I'm concerned that the fence, and we shot through a fence into a building, or there may have been kids there or something like that, and the danger to the community. If it turns out it's, hit the fence, but otherwise there was no danger to something else, I mean, basically I'm saying if a gun was fired safely, if that makes sense, then I'm probably more inclined to release them. I'm waiting on information. Because if it turns out that, there's a children's play set right on the other side of the fence, then obviously that's a different situation than it's just a field. So, Mom, I see you raising your hand, and I'm going to wait because I want Mr. Masek. He knows what the attorney knows what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So I just want more information regarding it. I don't have it here. And so there's nothing to indicate that a building or children or property was damaged other than the fence.
Correct.
Mr. Ansley?
Your Honor, I was taking a quick look at the report. It says, and there's not a lot of information, but it says they heard shots fired and that the handgun was being fired into her back fence line at a piece of metal. So therefore she called 911.
Okay, at the fence line.
Correct, at a piece of metal, which doesn't give any more details other than that, Judge.
So we don't know if the metal was on his own property or neighbor's property or anything like that?
Does not indicate, Your Honor.
Do we know what neighborhood this happened in? I don't need the address, just what neighborhood.
I can look it up on Google Maps real quick, Judge.
Like, is it a dense residential area? Is it semi-rural?
Based on the map, if it was the Grand Prairie address at 509 Royal, it is a neighborhood.
Mom, do we know where the gun came from?
I do not, sir. That was the first time I've seen or heard of it.
Mom, part of my concern is if I was to let him go, he would just go out and get another gun, right?
Well, I can assure you that he's not going to do that. I'm going to be more careful and more aware of his friends and his whereabouts, and we're going to put him back in school. I feel like he has too much free time, and I have been talking to the truancy officer. We're going to work on getting him back in school.
So was he expelled from school?
I know, sir.
So he was in school when he got picked up? I mean, it was over the holiday, but he was enrolled?
Correct. He was doing virtual. So I'm going to get him back into school.
Mom, do you know where he's getting the weed from?
I do not. And I haven't had a chance to really sit down and speak to my son to see what is going on with him and to address the whole situation, and talk to him, see what we can work on.
What were his grades like last semester?
His grades were not too great, but
What's not too great?
They're 'cause he was staying with his father. He was staying with his father then, and he's going to come back home, though, now with this whole incident. We have shared custody, him and his father.
Okay.
And so I just want him to come back home so he can just get back on the right track. I think he's a good kid. My son's a good kid. It's just this last year, it's just whenever, I guess too much time on his hands and the friends he was hanging out with. So we're just going to make some changes there. And just keep him busy, do more productive things. We have a job, part-time job lined up for him already, and get him back into school and just get him focused back on what he needs to do.
Your Honor, can I add one more bit of potential clarity?
Yes, sir.
So the offense location appears to be the address for Mr. Arango. In looking at the report, 2 subjects were at a vehicle parked in the grass at that location. So it appears that allegedly the shots were being fired in their own, while standing in their own property.
All right, James, what am I gonna do? Your level outstanding, you've managed to keep it since the 17th, all right? So it seems like you're making the effort that you know what it takes to be a level 1 outstanding. You understand what it takes to comply with the rules when the rules are explained to you. You understand what do not associate means. You understand how to actually behave, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and release you to your mom. All right? I'm gonna release you on a sweat patch because you have a history of drug use. You cannot use drugs while you have a pending case. And I'm gonna put you on electronic monitor, so you're only gonna be where your mom gives you permission to be, all right? You're also, Mom, when you say his grades are not good, what does not good mean?
I believe the last report, he was failing his classes.
Okay, so you are gonna pass your classes. If you're not passing your classes, I will bring you back here and enroll you into the Fort Worth campus here at Kimbo, all right?
I already got my grades and up in like half my classes already.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you?
So somebody in the chat has asked a question about parents being held accountable, parents being punished, parents going to jail. And it's so okay. There's two things that have to be understood about this situation. The judge is not going to be there when the child is being parented by this parent. So for the most part, the judge needs to instill the amount of respect that the parent needs to get, also by giving them respect. And so we don't often hear him degrade parents for their choices. He will sometimes, and there are cases where that happens. But what he will do is when he releases a child to somebody, they oftentimes have to sign an agreement, and they are required to bring the child back to court. So what happens is, if that child doesn't return to court, that parent or person who took that ownership of that role can be held, and arrest warrant issued for them, and they can be arrested for failure to appear. It's usually something that he says, and what I more think it's for is the benefit of the kids, saying to them, hey, your parent is going out to bat here for you. If you do not come back to court, like if you run away and you don't come back to court when you're supposed to, your parent themselves can be put into jail for you. That I think is more to the benefit of the parent who he's trying to assist in getting these kids, work, like getting better on a better track. The reality is, punishing the parents at this stage doesn't really help. What we need to do is help them at an earlier stage with the families the whole way. Anyways, my chat's lagging a little bit too, but let's continue on and see what Judge Kim has to say here.
Well, we'll take baby steps. Are you getting C's and everything?
What do you mean, sir?
C's, the letter C.
C's.
Your grades. A, B, C, D, F?
A and B's and some are C's.
All right. So your average has to be over a C. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm giving you this chance. You understand how I feel about kids with guns, right? You understand why I've been keeping you. And you understand if you get your hands on another gun, next time it's going to be that much harder for you to get out.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Mom, I'm expecting you to let us know, Mr. Nava know, if your son's giving you any kind of attitude at all. If he's not a level 1 outstanding in your home, then he needs to come back here and prove himself again. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Darian Franklin. All right, Mr. Franklin, I'm Judge Kim. This is a attorney requested hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you here or if your attorney has a reason why I should release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney. Ms. Taylor, for what purpose did you request this hearing?
Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you. I had spoken with my client, and I'd spoken with his grandfather who I believe brought paperwork showing he has legal guardianship over this young man. Of course, he wants to go home. When I requested this hearing, I had spoken with the grandfather to make sure that there'd be a suitable environment to release him to. And I'd also confirmed that he was level 1 outstanding.
All right, so I'm going to ask Mr. Kroll. I see you got to level 1 outstanding yesterday. How far did you drop down?
Your Honor, he just dropped to a 1A. There was a couple minor infractions the day prior for not following instructions, dropped him from 1O to 1A straight back. And if I may add, the original detention hearing, we did not have the correct information for the grandfather who's a guardian, which was the reason for, I believe, for his detention.
Did we not give him a drug test when he came back in?
Says,
Mr. Kroll?
the information was incorrect and it had to be corrected. So he came in looking like a first time in our system.
All right.
Once it was corrected, realized he had the prior history. We had an error when he first came in. It wasn't letting us add everything up, misspelling in the name.
Grandpa, how long have you had custody of your grandson?
Ever since he was 5 years old, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. So you've had him for a while. Are you worried about his drug use?
No, sir.
Okay, who does he affiliate with? Does he hang out with any gangs or cliques?
No, sir. No games.
You and I understand how important that is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I most definitely understand how important it is.
All right, well, Darren, your grandpa's here, and he has a good energy about him. So I want to release you to him. But a couple things. One, if I release you, it's going to be on electronic monitor. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next thing is, we didn't give you a drug test when you came in, which we should have. So at this point, I am curious if you're smoking weed or using other drugs or not. So this is where I'm at. I can either, well, I'm gonna give you a drug test. All right, I'm actually gonna do a hair fall, nail bed test on you, okay? And it's just gonna go back up to 6 months of your history, whether you've used any kind of drugs or not. And that'll tell me that way, because I think it's important for grandpa to know if you're actually using drugs or not.
Mm-hmm.
So here, we're at a point now where I'm gonna ask you a question. You're not gonna answer the question yet. My question is, when I give you this nail bed test, are you gonna be positive for anything that you shouldn't be? Now, before you answer, there's 3 ways this works out. One, you say, Judge, I'll be clean. And then you know what, you're clean. And we won't give you drug tests. We might give you random, but probably not very often while this case is going on. And you'll be fine. The second option is you tell me you're clean, but you're dirty. And well, the second thing is you tell me dirty and we'll test you and figure out what you're dirty for. I'll ask you what you're dirty for. And I'll do some kind of supervision to make sure you're not using drugs, but more importantly, your grandpa will know, and you'll impress me that you're being honest. The third option is you tell me, you lie to me, say you're gonna be clean, and you actually show up dirty in the last 6 months, and then you're gonna have a lot more intensive supervision while this case is going on. So that being said, I'm going to ask you, if I give you this drug test, are you going to be clean or dirty for the last 6 months?
Dirty.
Okay, what are you going to be dirty for?
Marijuana.
Marijuana, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Kroll, let's go ahead and give him a nail bed test, all right? You can come in out of custody to do that. Darian, if it turns out that you've clipped all your nails short before you submit the sample, I'm assuming you're dirty for everything else, heroin, PCP, all that. So make sure you don't clip your nails. Mr. Kroll will go ahead and schedule. We'll release them today on EM. Yes, sir?
Oh, you mean my fingernails?
Your fingernails or toenails?
I be biting my fingernails, but they're not too short.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be able to do that. And so, Mr. Kroll, we'll go ahead and have him come in out of custody for that. We'll release him today on EM. All right. I want to send it to the lab just so Grandpa knows exactly what he's using and how long he's been using it for.
Can I say
Darian,
something?
as long as, yes, sir?
I'm aware that he smoked weed. I'm aware of that.
Well, I just asked you if you know he uses
I mean, I'm aware that he has, I'm aware that he's smoked weed before. That was a while back. I don't know.
What's a while back for you?
I'd say about 2 months.
Okay, but when I asked you, does your grandson use drugs? You said no.
Well, I mean, I know. I suspected that I've never caught him. I've never caught him at all.
All right, Grandpa, look. I asked you, you said no, and then you just said you know he uses for weed. And then now when I ask you again, you're saying you suspected it. So
well, I found it. I've heard empty windows from his friends before that he did.
But you just said you never seen him smoke weed, but now you're telling me you found weed on him.
I apologize, but I do have an idea. I mean, I'm 60 years old, so I got a good inclination. I've never caught him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to know. So we'll get that test. Darian, if it turns out that you clip all your nails so we can't get a sample, I'm just going to go ahead and take you into custody, okay? So make sure you don't do that. And then, Mr. Kroll, we'll put him on not a random, but a regular UA schedule just to make sure he's not using, okay?
All right.
I'm kind of worried about we're at this point now where I think we just need a little bit more supervision. He's not a lost cause. I just don't want him to turn into one. Okay.
No, do I?
Darian, you just got to follow the rules. Just be a kid, right? Don't break the law. Don't avoid the law. Okay. All right. Thank you, Darian.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ethan Hernandez. Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, Ethan, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm deciding whether to keep you here, to release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Masick is your attorney, but Mr. Adler is stepping in for him today. If I keep you here, you'll have to see a judge every 10 days. So you're 16 years old.
Yes, sir.
And then police brought you in yesterday about they're saying 540 APD gang officers were patrolling where there's been an area where there's been recent shootings. They saw two subjects that they were familiar with walking in a roadway towards traffic, which is a pedestrian violation. So they were stopped due to your history of violent offenses. You were brought in last July for burglary of a vehicle. You were brought in last March for criminal trespass.
Yes, sir.
And it's like you're not getting tired of coming here. All right, so you were searched. Both were found with a 9mm handgun with 1 round in each magazine. Both were arrested for unlawfully carrying a weapon. And you tested positive for weed. All right, well, Ethan, you know how to stay out of here. And obviously you're not doing it. Do we not have a parent here?
No, sir.
All right. So when you have a gun, when a kid has a gun, I detain you. That's the decision that you made. That's a risk you ran. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if you do enough to convince me that I should let you go into the community. Thank you, Ethan. Kendrick Giles, we did out of custody, or we did in person. Nathaniel Ponce.
Judge, he's on the way, sir.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ponce, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When a kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you here, release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney. Good morning, Mr. Beaver.
Good morning, sir.
All right, so Nathaniel, so you're 16 years old. Yesterday, about 7 o'clock in the morning, Arlington was dispatched to domestic. you were the 911 caller saying you're scared of your stepfather. They investigated and realized that you and your stepdad got into an argument about how you treat each other. Stepdad said you've been disrespectful and defiant, and that when you spit food onto the living room floor, he went to discipline you by grabbing you around the legs while you were going upstairs. You had to wrestle, and you put your stepdad in a chokehold. Stepdad insisted he did not want to press charges, as well as the biological father there to pick up your son due to the fight. The police arrest you for family violence by impeding breath or circulation.
Yes, sir.
Do we have a parent here? Yes, I guess mom.
I'm sorry.
And are you dad or stepdad?
Stepdad and dad are here.
They're both here.
Hey, Dad, can you speak to Trejo?
All right, Nathaniel, you've never been here before. All right, Mom. All right, what's going on, Mom?
I don't know. It just came out of the blue.
Here's my thing. Is this an ongoing problem? Not Nathaniel's attitude, but violent behavior. Right? Is this something that's just escalating and now this is a new level? Or is this just a first time one-off, you're not sure what happened?
It's the first time one off. He's not like that. Okay. Anybody knows him. He's not like that.
Okay. So what is the plan now? If I was to let Nathaniel go, where would he go?
He's gonna go with dad or sister. She gave her house. It's wherever he chooses to give him time.
Sorry, sorry, sir.
So wherever he chooses to go to have time off. And I haven't spoken to him. I don't know how he feels.
Okay. How old is the sister?
Sister is 27. She'll be 28.
So Dad, you're saying that Nathaniel would come and live with you?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Are you concerned about the safety of anybody in your home if Nathaniel comes with you?
Oh, I won't think about it, but I know.
He's not understanding the question.
Oh, okay. Ms. Rodriguez or Mr. Adler, or no, Mr. Beaver, I'm sorry, Mr. Beaver speaks Spanish. Mr. Beaver, can you ask the dad if he's concerned about the safety of anybody in his home if I release Nathaniel to him?
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Señor Ponce, ¿usted tiene miedo por los miembros de la familia si Nathaniel fuera a vivir con usted?
No.
No, he does not have.
Okay, so is dad asking me to release him to him?
Señor Ponce, ¿usted quiere que Nathaniel vaya con usted para vivir con usted?
Wow. Esto pasó apenas ayer. Mi hijo está en seguridad en mi casa. Y no hay ningún problema con nadie, ningún miembro de mi familia. No hay ningún problema.
Ok. Señor Ponce, ¿usted quiere que Nathaniel viva con usted?
Espérate. Yeah. Wait. Señor, yo pienso que sí.
Okay, sir, I think so. So I asked him if he wants Nathaniel to live with him, and he said yes. Earlier, he said that he was not worried about the safety of anybody in his home.
So, I mean, I need a sí or no.
Yes.
I mean, it's either he's asking me or he's not asking me.
Okay, señor Ponce, el juez quiere escucharle si usted quiere que Nathaniel viva con usted o no viva con usted.
Sí.
So, yes.
All right, Nathaniel, hopefully you understand how the situation, if it's like I'm being told, things just escalated to a different level and where a line was crossed, okay? Look, if you want to be a kid, I'll treat you like a kid. If you want to be an adult, I'll treat you like an adult. And adults a lot of times have to stay here at Kimbo, okay? Go do your thing, just be a kid. Be respectful, follow the rules. Do you understand, Nathaniel?
Yes, sir, I do understand.
All right, let's get you out of here. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It's 11:11 p.m., folks. That means you can make a wish right now. Wish and wish and wish for something really great. Also, good nightmare. I hope you have a great sleep. Anybody else that's getting ready to go to bed, I hope you have a great sleep. I was just about to say something. Oh, Judge Kim made a little bit of a boo-boo there. They don't have adults at Kimbo. They adults go to jail, but they don't go to Kimba. So, anyways, Raven, you're on the East Coast, and we're on the West Coast, and that's okay. But like I said in the chat, after this, so in the next like 10 minutes, 11 minutes, I'm gonna be heading out for the night. I have to clean the kitchen. I have to get ready for the week ahead. Be realistic. I have to watch some court. Anyways, I love you guys all. We're gonna continue this and finish listening to it, but I just wanted to give you that heads up. Sometimes I need like warnings, like a 10-minute warning before my favorite live streams end, because I'm like, really? Because I didn't want to do that. I didn't want it to stop. You guys should find me some copyright-free reading that I can do for us, and I can read out loud to us one night. I love reading out loud and telling stories. Just make it so that YouTube Daddy will let me read it. Anyways, let's keep going.
Thank you, sir. Okay, God bless you.
All right. Jaqueline Spencer.
Yes, sir. You don't have to try anything? Okay.
All right, Mr. Spencer, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you here, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. If you're not a foreign attorney, we'll provide one for you. Your attorney, Ms. Herrick, is not present. I am asking Mr. Adler to substitute for her. All right, so Jaqueline Spencer, Arlington PD brought you in. You're dispatched to a residence where you're at. You had a warrant for ag assault out of Fort Worth, so they arrested you. When they arrested you, you had weed in your pocket. So back in May of last year, about midnight, police were dispatched for a shooting call. Victim had a gunshot wound, which hit his femoral artery, and the leg had to be amputated. So the victim reported he was intoxicated when he went to apartments with friends. Not sure what happened, but one of the witnesses said when they got there, victim and a group of black males started arguing. Victim was trying to fight him. Young black male came out of a car, approached with an AK-style rifle, and the black male shot one time into the ground and then shot the victim in the leg. And they left the victim in the parking lot. Another witness identified the shooter as Q. And let's see, I guess you admitted to shooting back in December of last year. So after the shooting, so I guess Ms. Turner Hill, are you here?
Your Honor, I'm covering for Officer Turner Hill.
Okay, so Mr. Gear, so he was here for shooting, and did we let him go? It's saying that the subsequent referral in December of 20.
The subsequent referral, that was an out of custody referral.
But the offense date was December 4th of 20. The shooting was May of 20. So if he was brought in, or was he brought in on the assault and then the shooting case came in after?
It appears that way, Your Honor. I will have to pull up the police incident report to see when the actual incident took place, but we received the complaint on December 21st.
Well, look, here's the thing. I mean, you're level 2. You're not even level 1, so it doesn't even really matter to me. You can't behave here at Kimbo, then if I let you go, you're not going to behave at home. All right? Jaqueline, I see your hand is raised. If you have a question for me, I'll answer your question. If you want to tell me something, I'm sure the attorney does not want you to tell me anything. All right? You have a question? All right, what's your question?
I've been here the whole time since November 8th. I got arrested November 8th, and I've been here ever since.
So what's the question, though? It sounds like you're telling me something.
Now the question is, I got the next detention hearing on the I think February 12th, and I was wondering if I keep my level, would you consider letting me go on the EM, see, or before my court date? Because I got court date on February 17th.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, this offense is really serious, right? I mean, somebody shot, had to have a leg amputated, evidently. And then you also have other assaultive history. And then you're level 2 also, that your behavior level's not one outstanding. Your court date, your trial is on February 17th. So I'm just, I'll consider everything at the next 10-day hearing. I don't know one way or another what I'm going to do. I can tell you, if you're not level 1-0, I'm not considering it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have to get there to even start the conversation. All right. All right. Thank you, DeQuaylen. All right. Fernando Trejo. Mr. Trejo, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing.
Yes, sir.
Law said when a kid's brought into our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Mr. Adler is your attorney. So you have got, let's see, you're almost 16, you turn 16 in a couple weeks. Let's see, yesterday, just before midnight, or 2 days ago, just before midnight, North Hills drove into Fossil Creek Park, saw 2 cars with one subject outside the cars. When the police got up there, one walked from the Impala toward the Mustang. When the officer was trying to identify everyone, the driver of the Impala accelerated quickly, making the officer think he's interrupted a drug deal. So when he did a traffic stop, the driver began to evade, ran stop signs until he hit a curb and disabled the vehicle. There was a felony stop, and Fernando was identified as the driver. There was an apparent adult as a passenger. Well, all right, Mr. Victorson.
Yes, Your Honor.
You missed something here. You said the car was registered to Hernandez. Which Hernandez?
My understanding is the passenger of the car was the registered owner.
Okay. All right. So inside the car, they found, in close proximity to both people, some cash with a small baggie of presumptively cocaine, a baggie containing LSD, 9 baggies of cocaine, baggies of white and blue Xanax tabs, 2 containers with THC, a water bong, pipe, grinder, and scale. And the Xanax was confirmed with the pharmacist. So both suspects were arrested.
A couple of things, Your Honor. We did do a drug test this morning too that came back positive for marijuana and cocaine. And a supplemental police report came in that said that the pursuit was actually about 30 miles. They were arrested off Regal Row and Harry Hines in Dallas County, and that the speeds exceeded over 100 miles an hour at times.
Okay. Well, look, Fernando, it looked like you or a child of house release will put the community in danger, if not from the apparent drug dealing, from the high-speed chase, and looks like you'd be a danger to yourself because of the cocaine use. Does Mom speak English?
Yes.
Okay. Mom, did you know that he was using cocaine?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, so I've got to protect himself. And also, Mr. Trejo, the fact that you would run from the police makes me worried that if I was to let you go, you would not appear for court. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you.
I got a question.
Yes.
All the stuff that he have, I just noticed that you guys say the whoever owned the car is the passenger of the car. So all this stuff is Fernando, or is that he's driving for the other guy?
Well, so in Texas, there's something called law of parties. So that's where if multiple people all either plan or commit a crime together, they're all guilty of the same crime. So if you and I decide to rob a bank together, right, and I don't know, one of us shot somebody, we're both guilty of murder, okay, because we did the crime together, okay? So this is one where if, they can prove that the drug dealing was done working together, they'll both be guilty of it. This is what he's being charged with is not just possession, but manufacturing or delivery, drug dealing of the Xanax, drug dealing of the cocaine, The marijuana is just a possession, but right now, I'm pretty sure nobody's really worried about the marijuana.
Mhm.
So he's looking at, because of the quantities, the weight of the drugs, the cocaine, he's looking at 1 to 4. So he is looking at up to 10 years of commitment from this.
What?
Yeah, up to 10 years because of the weight of the cocaine. So he could be committed for up to 10 years. If it was an adult charge, it'd be 2 to 10 years in prison.
If you hear a dual, is 2 to what?
Ma'am, I hate to interrupt there, Judge. Ma'am, I'm his attorney. Can you and I just have a conversation later? Because you're not helping your son right this minute talking to the
Okay,
judge.
okay.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just let you know, this is serious. This is a really big deal. Also, the evading arrest of the motor vehicle, that's up to 10 years in prison for that offense. Right. So this
Sorry,
is,
Judge. I didn't mean to
it's okay,
interrupt
Mr.
you.
Chandler. I appreciate it. So, Mom, just let you know, this is serious. Trejo, you have to understand this is a serious situation too. You need to get your behavior level up to give your attorney something to work with, to give a good reason for you to get probation. All right? Okay, so I'm going to go into detention.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. All right, that will conclude detention docket. Everyone have a beautiful weekend.
You too, Judge.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
Excuse me, Judge. Regarding Mr. Ponce, did you want him released on the EM?
No EM for him. It seems like the parents have control of the situation.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, sign release for Ponce. Have it. Thank you. Thank you. Have it.
I'm not gone yet. I just wanted Judge Kim to be smiling at me for a bit while I talk. Somebody said in the chat, why don't the lawyers interrupt more the parents? And I think there's a twofold reason for that. I think that partly to help their client, because am I muted now? I shouldn't be. Okay, good. I was like, dang it. What I think is that they basically, the more blame that the parents hold, the less culpable the child is from the eyes of the judge, perhaps. So if your client is this kid and you know their parents are just going to talk themselves into a bit of a hole here, and you already know the kid's not going to get released, the 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 lawyer in you would probably let them speak a little bit, because they're not your client. And it, in certain cases, it may actually help the judge to realize, like, oh, this isn't just, you know, this is what he's got to work with, I think. Anyways. The judge always needs to see what type of parents they are, but what I'm saying is why the lawyers don't interrupt more is because I think that it works to their client's benefit in some cases. Like in very serious cases, the parent may not be the person that this kid's going to get released to, or this kid may not be getting released until they're an adult. Anyways, I really appreciated having you guys here tonight. I am serious about finding some stories to read together. I would love that idea. I love the chats with you guys. I have some fun plans coming up from May 8th to the 16th. I'm going to be doing a recipe court cookout extravaganza that I would love you all to join me for. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And don't worry, I'm not going anywhere though. I'll be there. I'll be online between now and then. I'm just pre-warning. I'm giving you notice. Anyways. I appreciate you all. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to the video. If you're not already subscribed, if you are subscribed already, that's awesome. You know the rules. You can hit the like or the dislike button on your way out. You can let me know what you thought. I welcome all conversation and thoughts. I don't delete comments. I like to just see them and see what y'all have to say. So, I love you all very much. I hope you have wonderful sleeps tonight. And we will be back tomorrow with more court, more fun, and more community. I have no clue, Jacqueline. I wish I was monetized already, but that's taking a while. I have the buy me a coffee thing set up, and that is active, but for YouTube yet, I'm not sure about monetization. It'll take a while. Where should we go now? That's a great question. Right now, you can go watch something live. You can go rewatch some of my old content or new content. For tomorrow, I want you guys to make sure that you check out Credence and Mikey in the morning. I think it's at 9:05 Eastern. I might be wrong about that. That might be 9:05 my time. Check out Credence and Mikey tomorrow, please. Check out Time Served tomorrow, please. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed, Looking at Legal Stuff just hit 5K. Well, we are so happy and proud of her. So please go subscribe over there. And yeah, there's so much more coming, you guys. I'm very excited. And I'm super glad to have you all here. You mean very much to me. I really enjoy sitting and chatting with you at night and the daytime. And I can't wait for us to do more and more and more. So have a great evening. I never hang up the phone first, guys. This is a problem. So we just got to go. Leave 20 seconds for the tape delay. I love you. Kitchen